I asked everybody if they could get on a little bit early, and freaking they're here early waiting for me, and I'm on the phone with you. So let all right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'll let her know. All right. Bye bye. Miss Referee. There you go. Hey, Whitney.
Hello.
So I know that I said to be here 15 minutes early, and I appreciate everybody doing that. So well done. Celeste,
Yeah.
you're completely like awake and ready to go.
I look awake. I look like crap. I've been out in the Dallas rain all day. So I didn't even fix my hair because I've been sitting here waiting for someone to pick up. Like, I don't know.
WTF,
Okay.
dude.
Everett called me and he was all like, hey, yada, yada, yada. Started like talking about a bunch of stuff. I had to get my face on and get myself ready.
Oh my gosh, you have no beard. I just barely looked up and saw. Wow. That's funny. You look so different. All right. You look like a lot younger.
I do.
You shouldn't have shaved your beard. You're ugly under there.
I was wondering why you changed your profile pic. I thought you were like pulling one up from like 10 years
Throwback.
ago, trying to do like Everett, you know?
This is like 15 years ago.
Throwing on the catfish photo.
Right? Yeah, no, when I shaved from one length to another length, I lost about 5 years, and then I shaved it all off and lost another 10.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. So I'm just trying to fix my hair. It looks horrible.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. Oh well. It's all good.
Okay, so the good, the bad, and the ugly. Where are we with this?
Where are we at with it? Meaning,
Referencing.
where are we meaning? Are you waiting for me to answer?
Yes.
What do you mean? What are we?
Why did we use that as a title?
Just because sometimes preferences can be good, sometimes they can be viewed as bad, and sometimes people think that that's mean and ugly to have preferences.
Wait. Are we talking about preferences?
Yes.
Nick, where have you been? Do you not read the chat?
What? There? For heaven's sakes, child.
What are you guys talking about?
Obviously, you don't know what you're talking about.
I know
You,
what I'm talking
for real, do you not read the chat?
No, I don't read the chats. What am I?
Obviously not.
Oh my
and
gosh.
it says preferences, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That's even the title on there.
Well, I know why we have a title on there. I didn't know what it was referencing.
The preferences. Oh. I'll let you catch up. I'll let you read back a few. Oh, I don't know, 25,000 texts and catch up on that one.
Man, a little bit bitter over there. Holy crap.
Maybe you should just like be involved in the group.
I am involved. Thank you.
Let me like
in reading the group. So let's like ask the question and I see it and I'm like, well, this isn't a question for me to answer. This would be Nick or Everett. And then
does
nobody
Nick
responds.
let me just say something. Like there needs to be a female influence. And so Whitney, you just need to like get in there and make your opinion known. That's what I say.
Let me clarify just in case it came wrong. I'm not wanting to cut anybody down. I'm kidding about the sugar daddy. On a different note, I had a conversation. We both okay. I was here for all this. I know Everett was hoping to be there to interview him. Are you in this group? Sean Lau, yada yada yada.
Go up.
Yeah, I don't see anything on this.
You just need to keep going up. It's way back there.
Okay, well that doesn't help me.
It was. I said, hey, what topics have y'all seen that you'd like to put as the topic? And then I think Annie said, hey, or maybe it was Whitney. One of them said, hey, preferences. And the other one said, hey, yeah, I was just talking to Nick about that, about how some people think they're good or they're bad. And or whatever. I don't remember.
Yeah, I was not involved in this. You notice that I have not chimed in.
You were involved. You just chose to not read it or
There's
respond.
nothing.
Hey, you are in that group chat. If you did not read it, that's on you. Don't act like we were hiding it.
Go to the top and read all that we've said. Then.
Okay. Julie the Vant topics, physical attraction, height, weight, shallow preferences. Okay, good. I can work with that.
Hey, and if you know what, if you actually would have read the body of the event, it goes into it as well. Just
Does
so
it? Awesome.
it does.
Whoever would have thought?
Ooh, Joseph Perone is in the waiting room.
Hey, I had to give him the number. He said he couldn't find the link, but I sent it to him.
Wow.
Why do you say it like that? Who is that?
Don't we plan on trying to have him on?
He was sent out a questionnaire. I sent out questionnaires today. He was on the list. I don't know who he is.
Good. Okay, Miss Referee, if you'll change your name, please.
Oh, how do I do that?
Go to your picture, upper right-hand corner, 3 dots.
My picture, upper right hand corner, 3 dots. You must have a different layout than I do.
No, your picture.
I don't see my picture. Oh, I see my,
Your
this is
picture.
my
3
video.
dots.
Rename.
Click it. Rename.
All right, renamed.
Like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids or
You
something.
said picture. Like that's like a video. So it's good.
Okay, we're gonna let Julie in, and we will go ahead and chat with her for a second. We have 2 people in the waiting room that we can have them waiting there for a second. That's
Right.
surprising. We only have 2 in there.
Well, we have a lot saying they're coming. Maybe they're running late. We'll see.
Hi, Julie.
Hi, Julie.
I think she's watching TV or something. We can't hear you.
She's on.
Oh, there you go.
There she is.
I'm like the least tech savvy person. I've been trying to get on for a little bit.
Well, Nick just hadn't let anybody in from the waiting room yet. So
Nick has a power struggle with stuff like that. Bring that down. Julie, do you have a way of? Oh no, I think you look good.
it's just a little blurry. You do look beautiful though. That kind of came out.
My 12-year-old's like, "Are you wearing foundation, Mom?" I'm like, "I look tired. Give me a break."
Great.
I'm
You
wearing.
look beautiful.
I forgot to tell the other 2. I did ask Julie, and she would prefer not to talk about the details behind the divorce.
You don't want to talk about the details behind your divorce?
Like reasons for divorce. Yes.
Yeah, she doesn't mind talking about the healing process and the forgiveness process and all that, but just not the details.
Well, why don't you just cut off my leg from underneath me, Julie?
What's your favorite topic?
Sorry, I know. Well, I've watched enough of them that I thought that might come up, but just because of my kids and really trying to have an amicable relationship with my ex, we have like 16 years of co-parenting ahead of us with a 2-year-old, so it's good to have it be.
You don't need anything to shoot yourself in the foot?
Yes.
I
yes.
gotcha.
It would cost me a lot to go there, I think.
Okay, so we're okay with your dating life currently.
Yeah.
Okay, are your kids in the room?
No,
Will they be?
I hope not.
Basically, if I just throw out, what brand of vibrator do you prefer? Kawasaki versus like whatever. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same page.
Kawasaki does not make a vibrator.
Not that you know of.
Don't they make
Oh.
like motorcycles?
Trust
Come
me,
on
honey,
now.
I am aware. I spend a lot of time looking at vibrators.
Okay, so
That's my favorite brand.
all right, so no talking about what caused the divorce. We can talk about your ex in the sense of how long you were married, anything of that nature.
Yeah, co-parenting. Mostly I don't want to speak negatively of him.
Okay, so we'll try to avoid talking about him, period. Obviously.
Well, I mean, it's part of her story, just not
Well, yeah,
delve in. Yeah.
at the backstory and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds fine to me. Are there any other questions that you have before we get started? We haven't let anybody else in the room yet, so.
No, not really. I just barely started watching these, and so I haven't watched a ton, but I've liked what I've seen, and I think it's good. I think it's a good platform to be able. I think you guys do a great job. I think it's a great platform for people to be able to share their personalities and their insights and what they've learned. And I think it's a great way to support each other
Great.
as singles. So I think it's great. I love what you guys do.
Awesome.
Cool. Good
Okay.
to hear.
I know, I'm just ahead. I don't know how to.
Hearing a background like
I know, I'm
music,
hearing it
whatever
too.
is.
Someone's got like a high pitched squealy thing going on.
Is it me?
I don't know. Mute your microphone for a second, Julie.
Okay, let me see. Oh,
Nick, why don't you mute hers real quick?
It's not me.
Oh, it is Julie.
It is Julie. Okay. So Julie, I just asked you to unmute. Julie,
You have to
You're muted.
unmute.
you gotta unmute yourself.
Yeah, you have to go on and unmute yourself on your
Bottom left-hand corner.
of your video.
Left-hand corner.
I
You'll
thought
see
that I did.
microphone.
There you go.
There it is. Oh, no, you gotta
Oh,
try that again. Just click it once. There you go. You
Perfect.
still hear it?
No,
I don't hear it anymore.
Okay. Good, 'cause I was gonna
Oh,
say I
there
can
it
go on
is.
my phone.
Okay,
No, it's back.
it's back.
I can hear it too, but it's really faint. I don't know if it's coming from mine or not. Do you want me to go on my phone instead and see?
Let's try that.
Okay. I'm gonna leave this meeting and I will get back on.
Can we?
You can stay on the meeting video, just mute yourself and then phone into the meeting.
Okay.
You know how to do that?
No.
Okay,
I'm
so
just gonna
I'm
send
gonna
the
be-
audio.
I'm admitting everybody into the room, so we don't have.
Oh, okay, good. I was just about to send him a pic. I mean,
Okay, so I'm copying the link and I'm putting that into the chat. Julie, do you see the chat box? Julie, do you see the chat box? Okay, that is not what I wanted to do. Copy invitation, copy link. Let's go. All right, give me 1 second.
what are you doing?
I am sending Julie the phone number.
Gotcha.
What are we doing? Let me go. There it is. Everybody, just go ahead and wait for us 1 second. We're just trying to get some technical difficulties taken care of. Okay, I don't think that you can call in these ones. I have it set up so that you can't do that.
Maybe she can just turn down one of her microphones to see if it is maybe just picking up a little bit of, I don't know what the term is. Sometimes it picks up the other feed or the other sound and makes it kind of make weird noises.
Back here. Okay, good. Did that. There we go. All right. I apologize, everybody. Where are we at? Oh, did she leave?
Yeah, I think she's gonna try to get back on.
Yeah. Okay. I need to go here. There we go. Perfect. What are we doing? There are quite a few of us wanting to join Zoom tonight, but we cannot find the link.
Well, that's interesting. You know what it is? I think I know it's on the. I know it's on the main.
Oh, thank you, Diantha. I went to the event as well, and I didn't see the link in the event either. So.
Well,
So-
let me hurry and at least put it on the.
I'm gonna copy, go to the event. Let's go here.
Let's see here.
Going to edit.
While we're waiting, everybody go ahead and type in the chat your thoughts on Nick's clean shaven face. I want to hear everyone's review.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for some reason one of my TikToks were on, and all of a sudden it just blasted into my hearing aids. Good times.
He does look like a baby, huh, Shasta?
Okay. Why can't I edit this? Oh, it's
Does look like a baby's butt.
because I'm dumb. Why? Okay.
Butt face.
Paste.
Hang on, I'm gonna pull up my.
And
Might be off for a second. I don't know how that works.
do that.
Are you doing something on the actual page?
Next. Update. Okay.
He's
It's
back.
been updated.
That is so weird. I don't know how it got deleted. I know I copied it and
Paste.
pasted it in there. Looks
Looks like when somebody made it, they didn't add it.
I did add it.
Yeah, you did.
Promise you I did. I don't know.
Waiting for 8 minutes. I could have fixed my hair. Man, people are just complaining right and left.
Hey, it's true.
I did not fix my hair before we started.
Good
Actually,
job.
before we started, I was rolling around on my bed making a TikTok. And I was like, oh, I'm kind of getting a headache.
Oh,
I just made a post as well, so hopefully all that combined together will help people make it to the show. That's weird. I know I put it in there because I have to copy and paste it in there, but maybe I deleted it somehow.
there you go. Okay. I went to the link for the last podcast. Thank you, Catherine. Shasta says he looks like a baby now. Diana, smooth at the baby's bottom. No, not so much since it was done yesterday. So I've got that like 1 day stubble. So it's more like a Velcro. If I stick something in my face, it'll probably won't come off. Alan, wow, what happened? Got in a fight with the razor blade, and let's just say it won. What happened? Good gracious. Yeah, no joke. That 90s boy band look. I actually did a Backstreet Boy video on TikTok last night because
I bet you did.
it was awesome.
Perfect.
We'll admit there. Perfect. We got people coming in. Awesome. You know, one day this is all gonna be like automated.
I know, it won't be quite as
Right? We're actually gonna have like a technical person that'll take care of all of this stuff on the backside. Everybody that joins in aren't gonna have their video up. It'll be amazing.
so that I don't mess it up.
Dude, what are you talking about? I'm
We
taking care of it
have
in the background right now at this moment.
freaking huge audience
I
coming
told
in.
you, I sent out invites. I reposted. I
Julie,
mean,
you are popular.
Wow,
you
Julie.
That
like
makes me
bringing
feel
them all in.
Got like the whole Wicked song going in my head right now. Popular.
Popular.
I love that song. I love that play. It's an
That's a
awesome.
good one.
Yeah, see if there's anybody else that's yelling at me real quick. Let's see. No, I got Cosette. That's done. Christina, we got her. That's done. Celeste, you're yelling about your hair. Everybody make fun of Celeste for her hair.
Okay,
Her hair looks beautiful.
Alice and Rain. It's like, oh, hey, thank you. That's so
That's
sweet.
what your hair looks like in rain.
Yes, right?
That's what it would
Yeah.
take me like 5 hours to have my hair look
This
like
is
that.
Rain's
Thank you.
Aw, you're sweet. Thank you.
Like those people that are just like, they look good no matter what. And they're just like, oh, this whole thing.
You don't have long hair. You don't understand. Like half my hair is like flat on this.
Yeah, I
bucket.
had long hair down to here. I know exactly what that's like. That's why I shaved. Maybe you should shave your hair off. Won't have any issues like that.
The Sinead look.
Big old noggin will look hot. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I could never. My
I
head
could
is
get
so
myself a
lumpy.
boyfriend that way.
My head's
I've
so
got
lumpy.
some
I could never
nasty
be bald.
scars, so I wouldn't look good. I have
nasty
a head injury, so I have like scars.
Oh.
You have a scar on the back of your head?
Yeah, I had to have tons of stitches because I had a head injury in Mexico.
That's pretty
So
gross.
I will, if I lose my hair, I'll probably wear a wig.
Yeah?
I don't know. It might be kind of cool though. It might like get me street cred.
Yeah, no joke, right?
Nice.
Get like a little tattoo of like 2 eyes. That way it looks like a big like Joker mouth.
Mhm.
And have like a little wording, why so serious, going down the neck. That'd be awesome.
I'm not gonna lie, that doesn't really
Cool.
sound very attractive. I wouldn't.
You
I
don't-
wouldn't recommend it.
All right, so I think we are all set to go.
Sorry, everybody. I know I put the link in. Must have got deleted by me somehow.
It wasn't me. I didn't do anything.
Obviously, I'm not paying attention to anything, so you know it wasn't me.
No, you're not. So
Well, I accidentally left the meeting for a
so-
minute.
Hey, you're here now. That's what matters.
Yeah, Julie is an amazing lady. That's why we've got so many people here to listen to who she is and what she's all about.
very true.
All right. Well, with that, thank you everybody for joining us for another Flameless Fireside podcast. Today is December 30th, 2020. Today is the last interview of 2020. And we can leave this godforsaken year behind us.
Going out with
Good riddance.
bang.
Oh my goodness. We have Julie Montoya here with us tonight, stepdaughter of Indigo Montoya. She's all about trying to find her great grandfather who died, but Six-Fingered Man is still running around out there. Julia, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. It was a long afternoon, but my kids are in bed, so I'm feeling good.
That's the best time of day.
Isn't
It
it?
really is. And I just heard the door open. I tried to tell them, please don't get up. We'll see. And it just shut. Hallelujah.
For some reason, when you tell a kid, please don't do this, all they hear is do this.
Mhm.
It's true. Plus, they were really overstimulated today. They had an outing, no naps, nothing like that. And so lots of meltdowns. So I was feeling kind of tired myself. That's why I put on a little bit of makeup, not foundation, but I'm glad that my 12-year-old thought I did. She's never asked me that before. So that was a good sign, I think.
Very nice.
I feel good. Everything's calm at my house now. So
That's awesome. Let me do something real quick. Everybody in the audience, please do me a favor. Do not open up on your video. Do not open up on your audio. And if you do have anything that you would like to add to the conversation, we welcome all audience participation. Please put it up into the chat, and we'll be sure to try to add that in as we're talking to Julie tonight. So, Julie, tell us, where are you from?
I'm from Sandy, Utah.
Sandy.
84093.
Born and
Born and
raised.
raised?
Born
Hey,
and
gee.
raised. Yep. It's Cottonwood Heights now, but back then it was just plain old Sandy.
Okay.
It
And
kind of got a facelift. Now it's Cottonwood Heights. But it
That
was
sounds
Sandy
real
back then.
fancy.
Sounds
Yeah.
very fancy.
Yeah. They kind of went snobby. Just kidding. They didn't, but it was just old Sandy back then.
you've got you have kids. How many kids do you have?
I have 4. My oldest is a 12-year-old girl, and then I've got a 9-year-old boy, a 6-year-old girl, and a 2-year-old boy.
Oh boy.
2 and 2.
Sorry, what was the oldest?
12.
The 2.
Yep,
Wow. And you're divorced.
I am.
How long have you been divorced?
I've been divorced since March.
Okay.
Man, I
So not
swear,
quite a year.
I totally think like everybody that I meet, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, this person's been divorced for like 4 or 5 years. They're seasoned.
Same.
no.
I feel like everyone has been divorced longer than me. And everybody's like, oh yeah, it's been like less than a year. I'm like, wait, what?
Right? And you just see them out there and interacting and being involved, and you're just like, yeah, I'm involved, but not nearly as much as this person. So Julie, I see you get involved in the 35 plus and 35 wiser. Are there any groups that you like more than others?
No, I mean, I really enjoy, I'm home a lot because I have little kids, and I still have like a nap time. And right now, the last few months I've had my kids full time. And so my time away from them is very limited, and I like to be really active on the groups because it's my adult interaction.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go a little cuckoo without it, I think. I was really surprised. My situation was kind of not fun it hasn't been a fun year for anyone. It's been hard with COVID and quarantine but for me, I had just barely finalized my divorce like less than 10 days before quarantine hit. And so I was juggling a lot. And then all of a sudden the kids weren't in school, and my ex lost his job. That saying like within a couple of weeks. And so kind of everything hit at once. So I kind of just tried to, because of that, I feel like my friendships with my married friends, everybody was kind of hit with all this chaos. And so what might have been sort of, I don't know, I don't want to say isolating, but like what might have affected our friendship, me being divorced and rather suddenly, kind of made it just, I don't know, it widened the gap, if that makes sense. It made me feel so isolated because no one was getting together, and I just sort of felt like I was on an island. And so I really feel like starting to join these groups is what saved me. It's been a lifeline for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, there's something about having small kids that you're starting to talk like a small child all the time, and then you finally get around adults and you get that opportunity to stimulate your mind. So yeah, no, I think that's definitely a lifesaver.
Well, if your child has been in nap time for an hour and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse is still playing, there's like an issue. I'm like, and you're enjoying it, you're liking it.
Hey, once you get into the story, you got to see it all the way through.
I know, it's true. It's true. Doodles. Yeah.
So, are you dating now? I mean, Marge, how do you feel about the whole dating process right now?
It's still pretty new for me. I started about October. I think I went on one date in November because that October was, it was a lot. It was a lot. And now I'm just I'm getting out there. It's been an adjustment. It's been weird.
Did you have to move after your divorce, or did you get to stay in your same ward and stuff like that?
We actually moved before we were divorced. So kind of when things started falling apart, our house was actually under contract at that time. And so it was really interesting. And then our buyer pulled 2 days, like we'd been under contract for like 2 months, and our buyer pulled 2 days before we were supposed to close.
Yeah.
And so we ended up losing the house that we were, and he was from Australia. So we ended up losing the house that we were under contract for, because there were 4 offers. And just, literally the ground beneath, well, not literally, but it felt like the ground beneath me just turned to sand. And, but I do feel like Heavenly Father has really blessed me with where we're at now. I feel like it's been a really soft landing place. I love my ward. I love being so close to the temple. It's been, I really have to say that I know that we've been watched over and protected.
That's awesome. No, that's really good. So how long were you married for?
I was married for almost 14 years.
Okay. Now there's a lot of people out there that say, you should wait for every year that you're married. Go ahead and wait a month of your time. Did you have any qualms about getting back into the dating area, into the dating world, or anything like that?
When I got divorced, I was fairly certain that I didn't ever want to date, that I would be single forever. I think that changed pretty quickly, but I still don't feel 100% necessarily ready to date. But right now I'm trying to date for friendship, for connection, for experiences that are outside of this kind of divorce and then quarantine world that I've been living in. And I'm a really social person, and I enjoy the connection. And I think friendship is the best place to start anyway for a relationship. So I have been fairly transparent. I try to be really transparent with men that I go out with, that of where I am and what I'm looking for. Right now, I wouldn't say, oh yeah, in 2 weeks, if we like each other, let's be in a relationship. I don't feel like I'm necessarily there, but I do think that that it's been fun to get to know people and develop those friendships and connections.
Have you had anybody that has been unhappy with where you're at? Because I've been in that same place of like dating for friendship for 2 years, and I have had people that were not happy with it. Yeah, so I'm curious if you've had similar responses.
No, I have. I think that I think it's hard to, I don't know, everybody has such, part of what I think is so hard about dating and is that we're all coming from such different places. So someone that might be interested in me might really be ready for marriage, might feel like, I've been single for this many years and I see in you the qualities that I want. And so it is hard because I can't really give a time frame of when I would be ready, or there's just like, the end of a marriage is, I would equate it to like a death, the death of like something that was, especially like in our religion, that was eternal. Yep. Something that we had like so much invested in. And so it's a grieving process. So you can't really, there is no timeline for grief. Yep. And so I don't feel the pain that I felt in March. I don't feel the pain that I felt last November. This Christmas season was so much better for me as far as grief goes. I didn't feel the waves come as hard or as frequently. And there wasn't the same uncertainty, which caused a lot of pain. Kind of knowing going into it what I was looking at helped me to seek joy and happiness where I am. But
uh-oh, we lost you. We lost your sound, Julie.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
For a second, I thought my hearing aids just turned off.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we can. Julie, do me a favor since we just have that brief break. Are you on a laptop currently? Oh, your audio just went away again, Julie.
Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Your video's frozen.
It said my internet connection is unstable.
That's how my last relationship was.
That's how all of my
That's how
relationships.
my life is, you guys.
Hey, is your computer plugged into the wall with a cord right now?
It is. It is.
Okay. Can
Mind
you?
unplugging it just to see if it'll take away that high pitched sound?
Does that take it away?
No. All right. Someone in the audience thought that might work.
I can try it on my phone if that would be better. I just thought the computer would be better, but maybe it's not.
99% of the time the computer is better, but yeah, let's give that a try on the phone.
Okay.
As long as you have the Zoom app or go to the Zoom site, you should be fine.
Okay.
We can just put the phone right up on the computer, and that might just take care of everything altogether.
Okay, let me see here. What is
The number? Need the Zoom number?
yeah, what's the meeting ID?
250
250
729
729
6384.
6384.
Perfect. Okay, we'll do that. Okay, Julie,
That's
do me a
done.
favor if you will go ahead and
Whoa.
very good. And I don't think we have the high scrolling thing anymore.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Sure. Yeah.
Way better, and you look
Yeah.
fantastic.
You're looking good, girl.
All right, we're a go. Sorry, you guys.
Okay, so
up on your computer if you want to, or you can hold it, but whatever works for you.
Oh, I took my computer down already. I
Oh.
actually hate my computer.
so do I.
Is it a Mac?
No, it's not. It's like the oldest Dell ever.
That explains a lot.
I actually
I have a Mac and I hate it.
Whitney, I like my Mac.
Hate it so much.
So we were
Weird to
talking
like my
about
Mac,
your
but I do like it.
we were talking about your affinity for liking guys that look good in beards and without beards. So what are your preferences when it comes down to things like that?
You know, I don't really have preferences like that. I don't have a type.
No type.
Who I really don't. I as far as physical, I have a type as far as like personality. I like people that can make me laugh, and I really like playfulness, and people that like to connect on an emotional level is my preference, because I like to talk and process things, and so I enjoy that a lot. But I like, when I think about who I've dated, like before I was married, and my ex-husband, and people that I've been interested in since, there isn't really I don't really have a type.
So question, how old are you and how tall are you?
I'm 41 and I'm 5. Well, I give myself a vanity quarter inch. I'm 5'9 3/4, but I always say I'm 5'10.
Might
Linda
as well.
Carter was 5'10, you guys.
Yep.
So.
So do you have an age preference or height preference?
Not really. I mean, I don't know. I don't say, well, from this age to this age, just probably around my age, probably within 10 years, within my age.
10 years younger?
30.
That would be a lot, but I would go 5 years younger.
Okay, so not 10 years down, but 5 years down, 10 years up.
Yep. Well, you know, my mom married my stepdad, and he's 8 years younger.
Oh.
And they've been married like 32 years. So I think I don't really do absolutes for that, because I feel like if you have a connection with someone, then age is not a very big deal.
No, that's
No, but
my main thing is that connection. And regardless of anything else, if there's no connection, then nothing else is really gonna matter.
Well, and
And-
even if everybody has like, everybody talks about checklists and stuff, and I don't really subscribe to that, because I think that you can have everything on someone's checklist, but if you don't have that connection, it doesn't matter. And if you do have that connection, your checklist all of a sudden becomes very unimportant. Of course, there are deal breakers. There are things that, like, you could say this, I really don't think I could handle X, Y, or Z. But as far as having a checklist of this is the type, physically, this, X, all of the different things that we talk about all the time in the groups, I don't think those really matter. I think the connection is really connection, compatibility, chemistry. I think that those things matter a lot more than a checklist.
Okay, so what about somebody that is not as active in the church?
I guess that might fall into something that is could be a deal breaker or no. For me, I was not active when I met my ex, and neither was he. And that is a process of going back to church that we did together.
So
But
you say that you weren't active. Does that mean that you were the pole dancer and he was the guy that had the $1 bills? And then you guys were like, "Oh, you're Mormon too? Crazy! Let's go back to church." How'd that? What did that look like?
we met at a bar, and
That's
we
how I met
were
both my exes.
within like 10 minutes. We had both
Made
realized that we'd served missions. So we were at a bar talking about our mission experiences. So it was kind of different in that way.
Wow.
But awesome. I mean,
But
it's awesome
awesome.
y'all would
Did,
connect.
did you guys give each other like a toast of whatever you were drinking at the time? Like, hey!
No, I think that we sang a karaoke song, and I think that was the one and only time he ever sang karaoke. It was a Beatles song, but
When you first met each other?
when we first met. It was a dive bar. It wasn't a pickup bar. It was just like a neighborhood bar where everybody would go and let off steam. You have a quizzical look on your face.
We're
Nick.
all thinking about that. I think it's awesome. I think that we're all on a journey, and I think it's really cool that y'all were sitting there and you decided to discuss your missions while you're in the bar. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great story for the grandkids. Obviously,
Well,
never didn't work out, but it's still a good story.
It is a good story. I think too, what's interesting to me is that for a long time, I never told anybody those stories. And I think it's because I had shame attached to that. And I know enough now about the atonement and about my own personal worth and the importance of honoring our stories, because the choices that I made and didn't make at that time really helped shape me and form a lot of what I know about God and what I know about forgiveness in our own journey. And I wouldn't trade it. I wouldn't. I don't relish any pain that I caused the Savior or myself. But looking back, I'm grateful for the things that I learned, and I'm grateful for the ability to, I guess, own and honor my story without it being something that's shameful or having to hide that part of my life, because I feel somehow that would mean that I'm less than if I had always been as valiant as I try to be now.
I honestly think that is such a great way of looking at things. I mean, if you look back and you think about Alma the Younger, the guy had a dad that was a prophet. He had like all of the opportunities given to him. He probably passed the sacrament when he was 12, and when the guy turned was in his young man years, he went off the rails and did his own thing. Would it be a perspective for some people to look at it and be like, you know what, in these scriptures that we're going to be handing down, I don't want to write down the fact that I went off the rails, that I made mistakes, that I did this or that. But because we have that story, because we have the, this was his story, he went off the rails, he did all these things, and then he saw an angel and he became converted, and he turned his life around. And now we have like what, almost a quarter of the Book of Mormon all about him and what he did and the Sons of Moroni. So I like the fact that you are owning your story now. That's such a good thing.
Well, and I feel
Well,
like there's such a huge difference when you have those experiences that actually help you develop that relationship with God, as opposed to like you go to church then from when you're the time you're a little kid and you do all the things because that's what you're told, and you believe in God because that's what you're told, but you don't actually like gain your own personal testimony. But when you go through those experiences where you are at your rock bottom, or you're going through trials, or you're going through these things, that you start to develop your own personal relationship. Like it would be better to go through those trials and have that relationship with God than to just skate by in the middle.
Well, I agree to a point, because I do think that there are a lot of people that always have stayed in the church. And I guess what I'm saying is I think that we will all have the experiences that we need to learn what God needs us to learn. And since being divorced, I've kind of been like, but I went through all this stuff, and I thought, like, I feel like I was raged against fighting to come back to church. And it was so hard and so emotional and so just life-changing for me. And so I sort of felt, when everything was falling apart in my marriage, I sort of felt like, haven't I already experienced my Gethsemane and like proven myself herewith, sort of. But I do think that God had more for me to learn, and that I don't know, I guess that you never know someone else's journey, and it's really important that we allow for grace for each other. When I was listening to you, Nick, talk about Alma the Younger, I was thinking about, as far as dating goes, because we talk a lot in the groups about, well, would you ever date somebody who had done this? Or would you ever date somebody? We all have our triggers, right? Like things that our exes did, or things that have caused us pain. Or I was talking to a very good friend a few months ago, and she has a great marriage, and her husband was married before. And she was saying, I mean, they're so in love and so happy. And she was saying that he was not the husband to her that he was to his ex, and she was not his ex-wife was not the wife to him that my friend is. And I think that sometimes it's really easy to say, well, I don't want this or I don't want that, but every single relationship is different. So if I dated someone that was a horrible experience for me, I couldn't say, Whitney, do not date him. He is bad news, because my relationship.
Yet this happens all the time.
But it shouldn't, because there could be something in my personality that conflicts with his personality, and we could bring out the worst traits in each other. He could be, for Whitney, a knight in shining armor and just what she needed. And I think it's really important that we allow for grace for each other. Because even, I don't know, as I was thinking this morning about what could I bring? I knew you guys had questions and would want to get to know me, but I thought, well, what could I bring to the conversation of things that I've learned? Like, what is like the crux? What is like the very core of what I've learned since being divorced? And I think that the biggest thing is that it's not about finding someone who will love you enough, or that hasn't had this issue or that issue, because we all, at this stage of life, we all have our baggage. We all have our history. We all have our tendencies and our strengths and weaknesses. But I think it's more about loving ourselves enough to create safety for someone. so that somebody can, if I want a relationship with someone, I have to create enough space that they can make mistakes and not have it be my fault or their fault. Does that make sense? So like we also talk about a lot, well, I don't want to say we all, but there's a lot of chatter about, you know, my next spouse will be like this, or I don't want to date anyone unless they're like this. But we don't really talk about, well, I want to love myself enough that if they make mistakes, that doesn't mean that they don't love me. That doesn't mean that it has anything to do with me. I can create space for them to still be a great person and still see the good in them, even in that space of being mortal. And I think for me, that's probably what I've learned the most, is that I need to create more space. The more grace we allow for others, the more grace we can have for ourselves. If we have to vilify someone else, someone else's choices, someone else's life, then
That's actually your terminology that you're using right now is one that I have not heard before, in the sense of creating space in your life, almost like a buffer for somebody else to come in and fill. I've heard the luggage, I've heard the suitcases, all the
Baggage.
yeah, thank you. Like luggage, no baggage.
Like
There we
that's
go.
not luggage or suitcase.
got it.
Baggage.
Right,
Luggage
luggage, you know, whatever.
Cheaper than baggage. Luggage seems like it matches and stuff.
That's what I'm saying, Samsonite. So, where did you come up with the idea of this creating space in your life for somebody else to come into?
I really try to do a lot of work, not always successfully, unfortunately. But since my divorce, sorry, I wasn't gonna get emotional. I don't think divorce, you hear it from so many people, but divorce isn't in anybody's plan. Right? Like you don't get married, especially like in our culture, in our LDS culture, you don't get married to get divorced. It isn't part of your plan. It's devastating on so many levels, especially when you have kids. And so I think for me, I wanted to try my hardest to figure out what I could have done differently. And obviously I don't have, my ex had agency. I had agency. In marriage, everybody makes mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And it's too easy to say, well, this is all your fault and this is what you did wrong. And I, because it is in our culture, there are acceptable tragedies and there are unacceptable tragedies. Acceptable tragedies, like if I was widowed, for instance, right? Or I lost a child to a horrific accident. These are acceptable, but then there's unacceptable, like divorce. And it's very hard because of that culture, nobody wants to carry the shame. You feel, I think there is, at least for me, there was this urge to defend myself. There was this urge to be like, I am faultless. I am not to blame for this. Because I felt so marginalized I knocked myself out to be a good wife. I really did. But then I look at it and I think that my ex knocked himself out to be a good husband. It doesn't mean that we didn't both make mistakes. It doesn't mean that that we still didn't do our best. And I think there is this feeling like, in order for me to be faultless or blameless or even dateable or marriage material, I have to prove that I was a good wife and would be a good wife, instead of, we are all on this journey of learning and growing, and there is nobody that isn't worthy of love, and there is no one that does not.
I'm gonna cut you off right there.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
So I noticed that in my relationship, my biggest issue that I had was the fact that every time that I tried to work on things, that my ex-wife would come at me and be like, I'm doing all of this stuff and I'm pulling everything myself. And then I turn around and I'm just like, no, I'm trying to do all this stuff. And I feel like you're not coming out and helping me out. But just like you were recently saying, there's always that chemistry between you and somebody else. And whether or not you and that person are good together doesn't mean that another person that we bring in isn't going to be a good match. Like you were saying about, you know, if they don't work well with you, then who's to say that they wouldn't work well with Whitney or Celeste, even though her hair is just atrocious right now. Just like,
She looks like a fashion plate. Leave her alone.
Oh my gosh, you guys are sweet. But okay, so this topic we're on right now actually hits home for me. Like, it's a very touchy subject for me. So I'm curious because, Julie, do you believe that there can be a faultless divorce, like that someone is literally blameless in a divorce? Or do you think that it has to go like everyone has to take their blame? Because it makes it sound like, from what you're saying, I kind of get that you're saying that maybe everyone has their blame to take, because I personally take zero blame. So I'm curious what you think on that.
So here's my take on it. And I realize it's a hot button issue, and it's why I don't.
Did we lose her? We can't hear you. We can't hear you.
hold on. I know how to read lips. I got this.
Go for it.
I got, I like avocados and balsamic vinegar, which is very interesting. I
Oh,
don't
wait.
know why you would talk about that, but
Can you hear?
no, almost.
Can you hear me now?
There you
I
go.
can. She
Yes.
said, "Can you
Okay.
hear me now?" That's how good.
You're really good.
I say this with so much compassion and love and a sensitivity, because I know I told you guys, I specifically did not want to talk about what my ex had done or what I had done. I don't know. I don't think that would help or serve anyone. But here's what I know. I know that, do I think that one person can be culpable for a divorce? 100%. But what I am saying is, let's say I were to give you the reasons and I was blameless, or let's just flip it, my ex was blameless and it's all my fault. At that point, he can either, I guess what I mean is, mistakes were made by everyone. And that doesn't mean in my marriage. I'm not saying your marriage, Celeste. I mean,
No.
in my marriage, mistakes were made by everyone. And we both had, we both coped in sometimes healthy ways, sometimes really unhealthy ways that hurt each other. Are the levels of things that were done the same? Or I guess it's hard because I work so hard to not carry anger. I work so hard. It doesn't serve me. It doesn't serve my children. I wish so much with all my heart that my story had gone differently, but it didn't. And I guess I'm not articulating it very well, but I never want anyone to feel like they are accountable for their ex's choices, because they're not.
Right. And I think that's
If I was the worst wife in the world, I wouldn't be culpable for my ex's choices, sins, etc. And
Right.
so the only reason that I'm saying that mistakes were made is because the only way for me to have a different marriage is for me to improve what I can. And that doesn't mean that I'm culpable for my ex's choices. And we can have a private conversation if you want. I would love
No.
to, actually.
I
But
I
No,
was
no.
gonna say, because, like, for
This
me,
is totally private right here. So
Oh,
by all
yeah.
means, come on out.
totally private. No, like for me, I guess what I'm trying to get at is that obviously everyone's imperfect, right? And in our marriages, we all have made mistakes. That's just par for the course. I mean, we're gonna have good days, we're gonna have bad days, we're gonna have fights, we're gonna make up. Like, that's just part of marriage.
And make up
But when-
sex. Don't forget that.
Okay, and make up sex.
Always part
Okay,
of marriage.
that's part of marriage. Okay, but I guess what I was trying to get at, and I think this is why this is such a touchy subject for me in general, is that a lot of times on these Facebook pages, they're always like, well, what's your part in your divorce, right? And so for me, I fought to keep my marriage together for 7 years. Well, I probably fought for the first 4.5, 5, and then the divorce and separation started. But I literally lived without telling anybody what had happened in my life besides my bishop, my therapist, and then my spouse. Like, that's who I had that knew what was going on. I didn't tell my family. I didn't tell my kids. I didn't tell anybody. And I literally just put my head down and just shoved myself through it because I was so determined to not have my kids raised in a broken home. I was raised in a broken home and I did not want that for them. And so I fought tooth and nail every stinking step of the way to keep that marriage together. Now, at the end, I still couldn't want it enough for both of us. I still couldn't make his decisions. I still couldn't have him do things in his life that would cause me to trust him. Right. But I 110% gave it my all. And I wasn't even the one that had done anything wrong per se for the divorce. Right. I mean, we all make mistakes, but like big things that would cause a divorce. And so I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's okay to forgive. It's okay to not have bitterness. I don't have any for my spouse, my ex-spouse. I wish him well. I think it's good to have good boundaries. I think it's good to be compassionate and loving and forgiving. But at the same time, I accept zero blame for my divorce, like zero. And people look at me weird for that, but it's true. I gave it my all. I fought to keep it. And so when this topic comes up, that's why I'm curious. I like to ask because I think sometimes before my divorce, I would have thought, oh, absolutely, there's blame on both sides. There'd have to be blame on both sides. But, you know, the Lord has taught me that I was wrong. And the truth is that I literally think I would stand before the Lord right here and now, tall as I could, and just say, you know what I gave. You know what I tried to do to save this marriage. And it didn't work. I gave it my all. So anyway.
But Celeste, I agree with you because I feel the same way. Like, I feel like I was blameless in my divorce. My ex-husband feels like I was blameless in my divorce.
Yeah,
like
mine
he
too.
admits that like it was him. And I feel like that doesn't mean I didn't do anything to cause my divorce, but that doesn't mean that there's not things that I could do better next time
Exactly.
that could maybe make things easier, possibly. But I also feel like there's a fine line there with like working on yourself, trying to better yourself, trying to find ways, because we can't change other people. We can only change ourselves. So what things can I do to change about myself that would make other relationships easier, but without putting blame onto ourselves that isn't supposed to be there.
Right.
Like,
that's
even
not
still 2 years later, I'll like just randomly thoughts will come in my head and I'm like, well, maybe if I would have just done this. And I'm like, girl, shut up. Like, you did everything. You
Yeah.
did more than everything. Like, that's not your fault. Stop putting blame onto
Well,
you.
and I would
There's
agree
things
with
you can do better, but that doesn't mean that you did anything wrong.
Right. You can do better as a person because we're imperfect. But
Mhm.
when it comes to the divorce, like, it is what
well,
it is.
and I Celeste 100%. I am with both of you ladies on that. You were talking about standing before God. When I say this, I want to be clear. I am not shifting any blame onto people that tried their hardest. You can't. God protects agency. It is very, very sacred. You cannot change someone else. You can bend and contort and try your hardest to be exactly what you think that will save your marriage. I've been there. I went to the temple weekly, like pleading. I did not want to hear the answer that God was giving me. So I understand. I am not saying at all, I am not placing blame on anyone. I just mean for me, looking at it, because I can't change anyone and I can only change myself, what are the tendencies? If I didn't want to talk about my ex, but hypothetically, if, a totally hypothetical situation, if somebody on the group says, you guys, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. I just broke up with my 5th narcissist in a row. Now, I'm not saying that that person is to blame, but I want to analyze and examine in my heart what it is. What do I need to do within myself so that I don't end up in an identical relationship?
And I would agree with that
Doesn't mean
100%.
that I'm to blame for what somebody else does, but what about me was attractive and attracting that? What about what are my own patterns, even if my coping was in a more healthy way, which not that it always was, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
because I can only change me, and that does not mean that I would never say that someone is to blame for their ex's sins or their ex's behavior.
Yeah.
You're just not. But you can say, okay, for me personally, I really have to work on and have been working on my own boundary issues.
Boundaries are good. Yep.
And so if I do not want, because I am a pleaser by nature, I want everyone, I'm 4th in my family of 11. I'm 4 out of 6, but then it's a blended family. And so I also came from a broken home that was very painful. I did not want that for my children either. I really can relate to that, knowing that that pain goes on with you, continues on.
See, I grew up in a broken home with married parents. And
Oh,
so my thought of parents that just stay together for the sake of the kids that are totally toxic, like still to this day, honestly, I wish my parents would get a divorce. I hope they don't see this. If they do, parents, I wish that you guys would get a divorce. I really do. So when it got to that point that he was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm like, you know what? I've done everything I can. I don't want that life for my kids. Like, I feel like my kid's life now is a million times better than it would have been otherwise.
that's what I had to come to. Like, I think for so many years I was fighting against my childhood desire to have a full and complete home, that I wasn't seeing the picture clearly, right? So I fought and fought and fought and fought to keep the marriage together. And yet, as I prayed and as I had counseling and went through all of the things I needed to go through, one day I just realized it's like, but do I want my kids to look at our marriage as normal?
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't want that for them. And we never really had a normal marriage. There was always stuff going on within it. And so even though it was because I actually am the one who filed for divorce. So even though it was the hardest choice I've ever made, because I never thought I'd ever make that choice, I never thought I'd get to that point. It was the realization that it would be more harmful for us to stay together for my kids versus us breaking up and healing, and hopefully both of us finding someone else and having whole relationships that they could see and then emulate, because I would never want them to emulate what I had. That was not a healthy relationship.
That was my biggest issue with my relationship is I remember the day when it happened. I was my ex would bring her kids and my kids into our arguments. She would say stuff like, doesn't he do this? And they'd be like, oh yeah. And then I'd be like, why are you involving the kids? I don't understand where you're coming from.
That's not
And
okay.
then one day
not.
I tried to do the exact same thing, thinking that if she saw it happen, then it would click. And the second that I realized that I was doing that, I realized that I was showing my kids a bad way of doing something, and that she was showing them that her belittling me and trivializing anything that I said or did was setting a precedence in their mind of how it is okay or not okay to treat your spouse. And that was the moment that I realized that relationship was over.
Yeah, you don't want to be a pawn. That was the whole thing with my parents' divorce. Kids were the pawns and they used us against each other. I don't think they meant to per se, but that's exactly what happened.
Right.
I
So
know, Julie, you had mentioned at one point that you're a pleaser. And I'm the same way. I am a people pleaser. I'm terrible at boundaries. I do attract toxic relationships. Like, I'm aware of all of that. I'll admit all of that. But I feel like that was one thing I felt like was important to me. Okay. So just like to be clear, I did not leave my marriage. He left me. Like, I didn't have a choice in any of that. If I did have a choice, and once I started to recognize that, like, it was good that it was over, like I realized that I didn't want my kids seeing that. I didn't want my kids seeing that, like, everyone just walks on mom and just treats her like garbage. And I was like, you know what? That's not the example I want to give to my kids. I want to show my kids that, like, mom is smart, and mom is strong, and mom is amazing, and mom is funny, and mom is
amazing.
like, all these great things. Mom's not just here for us to, like, use and abuse her and throw her away. And so now that I'm, like, gotten past that point, I'm like, you know what? Like, this is probably the best life I could have given to my kids. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I chose. I would have preferred that my kids had, like, parents that loved each other and that both wanted to be there, and that we had this, you know, happy home. And I had to grieve the loss of that, which I feel like we've had this conversation recently, particularly women. Nick, chime in if this is the same for men, but women tend to kind of romanticize the men that they date, and they look at the potential of the man, not the man himself. And I feel like we do the same thing with relationships. So in our marriages, as we're trying to work so hard for this thing, we're working for this marriage like how we see it, not for the marriage that we have. And so you have to just get past that fantasy, honestly, and see what's really there. And probably wasn't worth fighting for, which is sad to think, but to be able to move on, stop blaming yourself, just take where you're at, go from there.
Well, and I guess too, to clarify what I was saying is, it's not even necessarily like that I was saying you need to take some of the blame if the blame is not yours, but regardless, there's still healing to be done. If the blame is 100% someone else's and you did your best, and obviously we're all mortal, we're all going to make mistakes, but if your mistakes did not cause your marriage, there is still healing that needs to be done. And so the work that we all need to do on ourselves isn't necessarily saying that we need to take blame, but like, the Lord doesn't want us to stay broken. And I think that, sorry, I'm probably gonna get emotional again. I think that as we look at our own painful pieces, and the way that the way that our own choices have affected us, but also when we're acted upon by others, we don't have to place anger or blame. We don't have to place that with anyone. We can actually let that go. We can hand that over to the Savior and say, and for me, that was a huge part of why I didn't want to get into what happened with my divorce, or why I'm, you know, whose fault, or why I'm where I am, or anything like that. Because for me, that goes into feeding something that is letting Satan in to grow that anger, and leaves me vulnerable to Satan to attack me. And for me, we really don't have to carry that around. Like the Lord doesn't want us to be broken. This isn't what God would want for any of us. He wants eternal families, but that doesn't mean
so let's
God
go ahead.
wants, like, well,
Let's
I
go
just
ahead
want to
and-
clarify. But God doesn't want us to be abused. God doesn't want his sons or daughters to live in a toxic relationship, to be neglected, to be abused, to be cheated on, to be the brunt of someone's anger all the time. And so it's, even though I don't think God loves divorce,
Julie.
I think that
Let's go ahead and we're gonna shift tracks here for a second.
Okay. Okay.
So I am one person that loves what you're doing. I literally could sit here and listen to your philosophies and perspectives because I really enjoy learning stuff like that. But just for the sake of time, we're gonna have to nip that one, and we're gonna take a second track because I want to know about you.
Okay.
Okay, I want to find out about Julie. I want to know what you're passionate about. I want to know what makes you tick. Okay, so let's kind of go down that path a little bit. You
Well, we
said that
now. Oh,
you
yeah.
got what, 11 people in your family?
There's 11 kids in my family.
Crazy action. And you're number 4.
Yes.
So you had to take care of a lot of kids growing up.
Yes.
Good gracious. Do you feel that affected you with your kids that you have now? Does that make you a better mom, not a better mom?
I think it makes me a better mom. I loved the family I grew up in. I mean, it had its hard dynamics for sure, but I loved it. It was fun to be 15. And so when my youngest sister was born, I was 15. And when I could drive, I would take her places and people thought she was my daughter.
Oh, so
Oh.
cute.
You know, it is kind of that dynamic of my half sisters that are 10 and 15 years younger than I am.
So how is it with your social group of friends? Do you find yourself kind of taking on more of a leadership role because of your lifestyle dynamic?
I do really like to be a nurturer. I do like to take care of people. It's something that I feel like I was born to do anyway. As the 4th child, as sort of the middle child, I was sort of the peacemaker. When people talk about love languages and things, I understand that everybody has how they like to be loved and everything, but in a family with that many, with such different backgrounds, I think that you really appreciate any effort made. You know, like you kind of have to learn to appreciate any love given, even if it's not necessarily what you would choose. I don't know, to see someone's heart and their effort really does make a big difference.
What would you say your love languages are?
Yeah, you know, I don't know. I do really like physical touch, and
Who doesn't?
It
Huh?
doesn't.
That's my number
think-
one.
I think that's universal. But I also really like quality time together.
That's my number 2.
So
But I
physical
don't know.
touch
I
and
can
quality
appreciate
time.
like praise. I kind of like. I try to appreciate whatever people have to give, because sometimes like the cost is great, and so it's hard if you are giving something at a great cost and someone counts it as a dross, you know.
Right.
Yep.
No, that definitely pisses me off.
So where did you serve your mission? I know you met your husband in the bar talking about your mission. So where exactly did you serve?
So I actually served half of my time in Seattle and half of my time in Carlsbad.
Oh, wow.
Virginia. Awesome.
How'd you like Seattle?
California.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, the other college bad.
How did you like Seattle?
I loved it. I felt like when I opened my call, I felt like I was meant to be, because I'd always wanted to live there. So
Really?
Why did you do both? Why did you move?
So before my mission, I had my mission papers and I had a head injury in Mexico. That was that scar I was telling you about.
Okay, yep.
And it kind of derailed a lot of things. It postponed my mission by more than a year, and it postponed my schooling. I don't want to say indefinitely, because I'm going back to school.
Woohoo! You go, girl.
20 years. Yeah, a long time. It derailed my plans, because it was a pretty major head injury. I had 20 bleeds in my brain, and my midline was shifted. My parents came to say goodbye.
Oh, wow.
Because my head was swollen so much and I wasn't stable enough to.
So tell us what happened.
Yeah,
What-
tell us that story.
Yeah.
Okay.
What were you doing?
Yeah, you're doing a lot of foreplay right now. I want to get onto it. I give me the full bit.
Okay. So I went with my college roommate and friend Heidi to Mexico, and she was about to get married, and I wanted to go on a mission, and had just recently received my papers. So we kind of just like thought this would be a fun hurrah. So we did through Fun Jet Vacations. It was so cheap. It was like less than $500, and it included airfare and hotel and everything. So we were pretty naive, I think. But we just went to Mexico, the two of us. And on the first day, the first full day of our trip, we had arrived in the evening, and the first full day of our trip, we were out on the beach, and I went to go get us some water bottles because we were told not to drink anything that wasn't bottled.
Right.
And I went by myself, which wasn't very smart. And they found me in a pool of blood by the pool.
So you
So
don't know
they
what
don't-
happened?
They don't know if I fell or fainted. Probably the most likely thing that happened because I was by myself.
You got accosted?
I probably was accosted.
But you don't remember? You just woke
I
up on the
don't.
ground.
I don't remember. I lost about 5 days worth of like consciousness.
Wow. You weren't raped or anything.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Wow. That
Was,
is
was your
crazy.
wallet stolen or anything?
I didn't even have a wallet with me. I basically I was in a swimsuit.
Wow.
So
Somebody
it's not possible that you just like slipped by the pool?
I could have, but they don't think that. I mean, now I look back and I think I really shouldn't have gone alone, especially not really dressed modestly. But I,
were you wearing a bikini?
I was wearing a bikini. Yes.
Was it a thong
Okay,
bikini?
it doesn't matter what you
does
were
not
wearing. Like
matter.
that.
Were you asking for it is what I'm asking.
Oh,
No.
my
It
God.
doesn't matter what you're wearing. You're not asking for someone to.
I don't give a crap if she
do
was
a head
walking
injury.
down the beach. It's not asking for it.
If you were walking out there naked, that doesn't mean that you
No,
were asking for
Does
anything.
not give anybody.
I don't know. If you're walking around naked and
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Not a thing. Never. Sorry, it's a touchy subject. I teach
It
my
doesn't
kids,
matter what
it
you're
doesn't
wearing.
matter what you're doing. No one has the right to do anything.
No.
you had this event happen.
Mm-hmm.
You woke up what 5 days later?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I
And
didn't.
your parents were with you at that time?
Where was your friend at during all this?
They were on the beach, right? Did you leave them on the beach? Oh, I think she's frozen.
I think
I
she is.
think she said she left him on the beach to go get drinks.
We're hammering her with questions and she doesn't
Yeah,
have
but like for
I
how
think
long
she's
before the
frozen.
friend was like, "Hey,
Right.
what you doing?"
Taking her forever to get her water bottles. Let's go
5
find.
days. 5 days.
Well, I don't think she laid there 5 days. I think she was in a coma state or whatever for 5 days.
Well, was
Seriously.
she out for 5 days, or she just couldn't remember the last 5
Or
days?
maybe she lost the 5 day.
Well,
Maybe.
it sounds like she got hit. They found her in a pool of blood. They took her to the hospital, and then she was there for about 4 days, and then she woke up.
Yeah.
I like how we're just making up the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, no
We're
joke.
just gonna fill it in while her computer or her phone catches on there.
She's buffering.
Yeah, we're just
So
gonna.
I think she went out. I think she's gonna
Okay,
come back
so
in.
what happened was she was wearing the scantily clad,
Oh,
and
Nick.
somebody saw her and said, "Whore of Babylon," and he hit her over the head. And
Okay, but like it doesn't matter what you're wearing. Like, why would that be somebody's
Yeah.
reason
I
to
don't
like
know
bash
why
you in the
would somebody
head?
just come up and
She's
smack-
wearing a swimsuit. Let's bash her head.
They might have thought she was carrying money. Oh, she's back. Okay, so we totally like put your story all together.
We just
It's
filled
all-
in all the blanks.
So white slavery is big there.
White
especially
slavery?
Then, so it's very likely that someone was trying to grab me, and in a struggle, I fell.
So if you were by the pool, like, was there nobody around? Like, nobody saw anything?
It's possible somebody came along during that process and they decided to abandon it altogether.
Like maybe someone else was like, they heard somebody and so they ran and left her sitting there, you know?
Yeah, and she left her with a splitting headache. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So what about your friend? Where was your friend at? Did she come look
We
for
was
you?
on the
Found
beach.
you.
No, they came and found her because
Oh,
I was found fairly quickly, but they needed to figure out who I was before they put me in an ambulance. They had to call my mom and get her credit card number. This is Mexico, so they're not going to transport me by ambulance until they have a payment.
How much
Oh
was
my
it?
Gosh.
So
How much was
then
it?
I don't know. It was a lot. My parents got a phone call saying, we need your credit card number before we can take your daughter
Oh
to
my
the
gosh.
hospital. So
Good thing you
Wow.
didn't die during that time.
no, I know. And they
Wow.
couldn't life flight me because I wasn't stable enough. My head was swelling too much.
So they decided to put you in a van on that unstable road all the way there. That makes sense.
No, I'm glad I don't remember it. I'm sure it was traumatic.
This
Right.
is when we're grateful we live in the US. Even with all of its issues, it's still a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That's insane. That's a crazy story. So how many stitches?
I don't even know. They wanted to cut my hair off, and my mom said no. And she sat and she spent about 3 hours getting all the blood and everything out, combing it all out because they wanted to just shave my head.
Why did your mom say no? I mean, that sounds like a pretty standard thing to do when you have like.
I think she wanted to save my hair.
Maybe
I feel like that would just be like adding extra trauma, like insult to injury, to wake up and not only did you have this traumatic experience, but
But
like
now
now
you're
you're
bald.
You're
bald.
bald. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it would be.
Well, it could be that she's like Samson and her mom knows something that she doesn't know. Do you have like the strength of
Got some
100 men?
superpower.
Well, I have healed from a lot of things. My aunt used to call me the comeback kid because I've had a lot of serious health issues and been able to be healed by.
She was healed by the power of the priesthood. I'm just filling that in. Since she's not here.
I'm glad that you're just filling that in,
I know her story.
We're like
gonna tell you.
besties. We finish each other's sentences.
Oh, she's back. Okay. You were healed. You were talking about how you were being healed.
Well, I did get a blessing straight.
You're
See?
right.
Wow. It's just like,
No, we still can't hear you.
yeah, no, this is beautiful.
So she got
Okay,
a
hold
blessing.
on. I have to
Her dad
start.
showed up. Her dad gave her a really good
Read her
blessing.
lips now. Just hold on.
Actually, one of the hot nurses actually was a member and pulled out the oil and gave her a blessing.
That's exactly
If
what
I'm going to write this story, it's going to be a good one.
There's actually 2 hot nurses.
2 hot nurses. That's right. Both male, not gay.
Both tall, dark, and handsome.
With nice big blue eyes.
Hey, Julie, I'd like to play a little game with you.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me if you can see my screen. Can you see this?
Yes, I can.
Perfect.
Woohoo.
All right, so this is called the Wheel of Names. I kind of threw out a bunch of different topics, and I'd like to just kind of see where you fall on different things. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, is there something that you used to love, but now that you've stopped doing?
Yes, I used to love doing crafts. Not so much now.
What kind of crafts did you
Time
do?
for that anymore.
Amen.
I used to sew. I used to do like
Scrapbook. Oh, she's talking. She's saying she used to scrapbook. Do you feel like crochet or
She's saying scrapbook, and that she used to be into like glitter paints. She's a big finger glitter painting person.
There she is. Are you back?
There you are, Julie. Your phone is playing so many games with us.
If I start speaking,
you
for
said you
because we
wanted to
can't
play a
hear you.
game, remember?
We're just playing guess what Julie says.
This
Yeah,
is
no
like-
joke.
yeah.
Maybe I'm playing a game with you guys.
Yeah, that's right. It's like who can finish Julie's story correctly?
Yeah, no,
Okay, so what
Yes,
other crafts
like
did
a
you do?
teacher on
Sewing and what
adventure.
else?
Like I had a Cricut and I did vinyl and I just really liked doing. Oh, I'll show you one. This one's a good one.
Well, we
I'll show you
gotta
one.
get your screen to
Yeah, no,
unmute.
that'll be great. We
We
would
just
love to
can't.
see it.
We can't.
Can you not see? You guys, I don't know why. This
No,
is a
it
good
looks
one.
great.
There you are. Hey.
So I made this advent calendar like 12 years ago. Can you see
Advent
it?
calendar, very
Not
cool.
yet. Oh, there it is.
Oh, there it is. Right, turn it
wait.
around.
Flip that around again.
Flip it around. There. Oh,
Oh,
Go
cute.
closer. Is it sewn?
No, so it's paper. We were this anyway, but candy's
Is it
in
a
it.
Super Saturday idea?
No, I did this on my own.
What? Oh,
You
look
can
at
tell
this.
we didn't finish it, but there's a piece of candy for each kid.
oh,
Oh,
cool.
that is so fun. They're little tins.
Yeah. So I would do crap like that and love it. And now I'm like, I have no desire. So
I say
not-
now that my hobby is collecting craft supplies because I don't actually have time like to make them,
Yes.
but I have a whole
Mhm.
craft room full of stuff.
Yes.
That's great.
The funnest part is the collection.
Yeah.
Go in there and look at all they got and, buy half of it and then just let it sit in the little cute little paper, box you have to put it in.
Yep.
Nice.
So what about you, Celeste? You have
Yeah.
anything that you don't do anymore that you just love to do before?
I used to love drinking coffee. I
No
am still
joke.
convinced that our resurrected bodies will be able to drink it. So
Were you like a
I tell
French
myself
roast?
that. What?
Were you a French roast kind of a person?
No, I was just cream. It could be flavored cream and sugar.
Wow.
It was before, like, this was way back before, all the fancy colds and whipped creams and swirls and whatever they do nowadays.
Right.
You just, stop at the gas station, get the coffee, add the cream, add some sugar, stir and go. So
Wow. You were a rebel.
I wasn't active. So yeah, I was a little bit of a rebel. I did
Good.
love my coffee.
All right. Very good. So let's go ahead and do another topic here. This
Okay.
next topic is, what do you
Like,
what do you like most about yourself, Jules?
oh, that's a good one.
Oh, what do I like most about myself?
Besides your cup size. Because everybody loves
Besides
that.
the fact that you're awesome and strong.
Did you just say besides your cup size?
I would never say
Ooh,
that. Stop.
Not everybody loves their cup size.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. I do like my cup size.
Woo! Oh, yes.
It holds enough Diet Coke to get me
It's
through.
like a 32 ounce right there, almost
Good
44.
one.
I
That's
bought a 44 one too, but I wasn't gonna get crazy today,
That's
guys.
Well, that makes
44 is
sense.
kind of equivalent to double D in mixed world.
What do you like most about yourself?
She is
She
saying
said that she really likes her hair, how brown it
says
is.
she likes her beautiful eyes and her pretty smile.
I like my
Oh.
tender heart actually.
She
Oh,
likes
that's
the
a
tender
good one.
hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It
she
causes me
needs
a
love
lot of
people.
pain, but I think it's honestly, I think it's probably my best attribute.
I agree. That's an awesome one.
That's great. What about you, Whitney? What do you like most about yourself?
I think self-confidence,
I agree.
because it's something that I had to work very hard to gain.
Why
Yeah,
don't you
don't
tell people how you did that?
You
What did
have a saying on your mirror.
Yeah.
What is your saying?
It says, "You are enough."
You are enough.
So I am smart enough, I'm pretty enough, I'm skinny enough, I'm funny enough, I'm anything enough. When I'm like, well, maybe I'm not. No, you're enough. You're enough of any of those things.
You just
You're
got to
enough.
find the
You're
right
good
person.
enough.
Yep.
And you got to be careful when you talk to Whitney about this, because she will start bawling like a baby after about 5 seconds of thinking
That's
about
true.
it.
I will.
It's good though.
This
It's
has been a very difficult journey for me.
yeah.
I can understand that, absolutely. What about you, Celeste?
What do I like about my let's see.
You like your jawline?
I I do not like my hair tonight, but I'm gonna say what I like about myself is that I do not like to fight or be contentious. So I tend to kind of try to smooth things over in my life. I like things placid, and I think that's a good trait to have.
I
'cause-
think that's interesting that you say that that's what you like about yourself, because I'm the same way and I don't see that as a positive.
See, but this is the thing, because you can still get upset. You can still have an opinion. You can still process the negative feelings, right? But that doesn't mean you have to give the other person the power. Like, that's how I always look at it. Like, if I get mad back towards you, then all of a sudden I've given you my power and then you can throw it back at me. So I always just kind of like, in my mind, I kind of think, I can have all those feelings. I can process it all. I can do it all. But in the moment, I'm just not going to give away my power. I'm just going to try and smooth it over, not cause contention. And then just, if I have to say something, I'll say something, but we're not talking big fights here, because if I don't let people walk on me, but in general, I try to keep things placid.
I do. I let people walk on me.
Yeah. No
That's
walk.
why I don't see it as a positive.
No, that's what I say. You don't want it to get that far. You don't want people walking on you, but because I think you can actually stand up for yourself in a calm manner and in a kind manner, and still get your point across without causing a big fight.
Yeah, I like to stand up for myself with a bat.
Yeah, with the bat.
All right,
Well,
Jules.
I will tell you something, Celeste, because it's interesting to hear you and Whitney kind of. I'm sort of the same way, and I've been criticized for it. But one thing that my bishop said to me that really comforted me was, he said, the thing is, like, what you're striving for is to be Christ-like. And so even though in this world where we're like supposed to like stand up for ourselves and not let anybody like, you know, cross our boundaries, and boundaries are a big issue and it's important to have boundaries, I also really appreciated his take, because I do think that that is what I'm striving for. And if that means that I don't get what I should get or whatever, if I'm able to keep my heart like loving and not have to carry anger in my backpack, do you know what I mean?
Right.
I think I have a different take on it since my bishop said that, because it doesn't mean that you're weak if you don't want to be around conflict.
Right. No, I think it actually shows strength. I think that when you're able to control that anger and channel it, or just, like I'm a journaler. So like all of my aggression usually comes out in writing. I love to write. I love to express myself that way. I do a much better job expressing myself in word than I do speaking. So
Same.
I use that as my outlet. So in the moment, I try not to, again, unless I have to stand up for myself, I try not to let them have the control. I try to just hold on to it, journal it, because it really doesn't do any good to blow up. Right? It really doesn't fix anything.
I know.
Right?
I feel pretty good when
I'm blowing up at somebody, right? So
this does make me think, though, of the story of Christ in the temple,
he's
throwing over the tables.
Right.
Even Christ has boundaries. Even Christ is going to be like,
at
get
some
out
point
of here.
you do have to stand up.
Yeah, you do
Well,
have to stand up for yourself.
And
dangerous.
Well, it's true. Like there comes a point where you do have to, depending on.
well,
the
and I think
situation.
that, like, filing for divorce when that's
Yep.
wasn't what you wanted, that was,
Right.
you were pushed too far and you are standing up for yourself. But I do think, I don't know, for me, because I get all the time, I get criticism all the time that I am not angry enough. And for me, that I know that doesn't serve me personally. I know how I feel when I'm angry. I know that, like, I don't have the spirit with me. I don't have peace with me. I don't find joy in that. And so for me, while I can appreciate that a healthy amount of anger, as long as you don't carry it with you, is important to process and draw lines accordingly, I think that only you know what you're comfortable with as far as that goes.
Right. I agree. How about you, Nick?
Huh?
What do
What
you
do you
love
like
about
about
yourself,
yourself?
Nicholas?
What I love about myself,
Yeah.
that I do magic.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your nice
Gosh,
beard.
woohoo, look at that. that was classy.
That was cool. I thought like you were gonna pull something like a quarter out of my ear or something.
Out of your ear?
Yeah.
That would be
Yeah, that was
impressive.
I want to see that one.
No, that's for a later Zoom call.
Okay.
You guys can
And here it
coordinate.
comes. No, I like the fact that I connect people. I get people and I connect them together. I like this Zoom, like this thing right here that we're doing.
Like a little Cupid.
So
Yeah.
I've been told that. I've had people tell me that about myself. They're like, you're really good at connecting people together.
Right.
And in the time then I was like, okay, like I get that. I hear what you're saying.
I like how we're talking
Like-
about me and then Whitney turns around and makes it about her.
No, but I'm like,
She's just
I
relating.
don't like people though. That's the difference. Like you like people and you connect them together and you're like, yes, I love these groups of people. And I'm like, I want to put you guys in a group and then I'm just going to go away.
I'm going to go do my thing in a different room.
Yeah.
I'm going to go organize my craft items.
Yeah. So I think that's interesting how we're the same in that way. But then also you're like,
Maven. What the hell is a maven?
What?
It's called. There's a term for that. It's called being a maven. Okay,
Maven?
Alexia.
is that
For
the
who?
term for
For who? For Whitney?
Was
For
that
connecting
is that a
people
term for Whitney or is that a term for me?
I think
Like a
it's a
person
Nick
that
term.
brings people
Nick and
together. is
Maven.
like the-
No, I think it's the person that brings people together, but
And
you
then
just stay
leaves?
with your people and I leave
Oh,
them.
there you go. It's you, Nick. In fact, it'd be both of you. It doesn't say you have to
Yeah.
stay. You're both mavens. Nick is a stay there
I read
maven,
the
and
tipping
Whitney's
point.
a leave there leave maven.
And I don't remember a maven, the people who connect other people, but I'm gonna have to go back and reread that. I don't remember if I read it or if I listened to an audiobook. I think I read it though. The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell. Very good book for those that don't know what we're talking about.
I've never heard of it.
Malcolm
Yeah,
Gladwell
he-
is an amazing writer,
Like his book, The Outliers. I did like that one.
right? It wasn't that such a good one?
It was a good one.
Do you know how many books I've gathered from these podcasts, and they're like sitting on my bookshelf now? Every
They're
time I
amazing.
go
Read
somewhere,
Talking to
I stick
Strangers.
it in my Amazon cart and I buy it.
I know I have a whole list, but I don't read
Okay.
them.
This is What the Dog Saw, and that one is really hard to watch. Talking to Strangers, I still haven't gotten into that one.
Talking to Strangers was a
Hey,
good
I
one.
got the one about don't be angry anymore or something.
Got David and Goliath. That one was really good.
Well, all right. I'm not sure about that one, but
I'm just saying.
how to make, let's see, how little things can make a big difference. Is that the one we're talking about?
No. we're talking
Malcolm Gladwell. Malcolm Gladwell?
I no.
No?
I didn't even know that was one of his books. Is that a new one?
No, he said the tipping point. The tipping
Oh.
point. How little things can make a big difference.
Oh, okay. Yes. I'm sorry. You're talking about his little subline. Yeah.
I just got to make sure I just go ahead and add that to my cart. Okay,
Yeah.
we're good now.
Yep. Okay. All right. So yeah, no, that's really good stuff right there. Let's see what's next. Oh, here we go. Julie, what is your idea of a perfect date?
Ooh.
Hey, how
My
come
idea of a perfect date, probably to be in the mountains somewhere,
Up
like
in
a
the mountains?
campfire, like a campfire cookout.
So you're
That's
looking
right.
to get murdered at a campfire.
That's what she prefers for her birthday. Oh, she's gone again.
She prefers murder for
there
her
it
birthday.
is.
She prefers being up in the mountains by a campfire for her birthday. That's what she's saying right now.
Oh, are you sure she's not saying she prefers getting murdered for her birthday?
She actually wants to be murdered with a taser up in the
No,
mountains by a campfire for her birthday.
No, but you didn't say first date. You said what's a perfect date. If
True.
it was a first date, it would
Oh,
be
true.
different. I don't think I'd
Oh.
say, yeah, let's go to the mountains on a first date, but a perfect date would definitely involve the mountains.
Okay. That is a very good perspective to take on that. That was not a first date, but a perfect date. So a perfect date has to go up in the mountains, have a fire, maybe a sleeping bag for two.
Get taser just in case. Neil,
pepper spray.
one, just in
I
case.
think you can kill someone with a taser, though.
Hey, I'm talking about for bears. If they come into your
Oh,
campground, you can
A
tase
taser's not
the
doing
bear.
jack crap for bears.
You got to
gotta
bring like
piss
a whole
off the
slew of
bear.
them. Tase the bears.
Oh my goodness. This is why Whitney is dead. Not because she went and met some random guy that chopped her up in pieces. No, because she tased a
The
bear.
Bear
I
from
mean,
Celeste's advice. Someone told me it would kill it.
I just did what Celeste told me to do.
Your fault that I'm dead, Celeste.
I know. I'm sorry. I'll
Visualizing
send you a
that.
really big, pretty bouquet of flowers.
how would the
So this is unrelated to, well, it's kind of related. Still to this day, randomly people will bring up in like all these Facebook single groups will bring up tasers to me just randomly.
Of course.
Even today. And somebody was like, I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Is this an inside joke? Is this like a fetish that she has? I'm like, this is not a fetish that I have. This is a fetish that everyone else seems
Everyone else.
to know about me. I don't bring them up, but it comes up like weekly.
You know what? As soon as you find someone to volunteer to actually be tased and you get to watch it and see what it does, you're going to be like totally talking about it all the time.
I have had some people that have said yes, but nobody
I
that
just
we've
saw
actually
Nick's hand go up.
So actually,
Why
I
do
don't
you
have any
think?
cartridges. I need to buy more cartridges, but they're $70 a piece.
Hey, y'all should be like in the same state on one of these podcasts and then tase them live on the podcast.
There we go.
Yes.
I'll just do it like out of the blue.
We
Like
would have like 100 people watching in the
We'll be
audience.
sitting
just
right
to
next to
see
each
that.
other. Yes, we're looking.
yes. Yes.
so
We
good.
will be in the same
Yeah.
state next month.
I would like to calm yourself.
January.
I'm excited.
I
That
would
would be
like to
fun.
at least be able to take out my hearing aids. I don't know what the taser is gonna do with all the electrical stuff.
Yeah, take out the hearing aids.
The
Good
very
point.
so we cannot do this like impromptu.
But it has to be live on the podcast.
Done. Next month.
Nick, I
Done.
saw you volunteer, so don't be backing out.
See how that works.
January 24th.
Oh, let me see
There.
who's the lucky person. Let's see who gets to be on the. Oh, January 24th. That would be. Well, we're still deciding on that one. It was,
Yes, technically we'd be driving home that day. We might
I was
have to
going to say
film
because
it.
you guys can't be there. So anyway, we'll leave that.
We might have to
Yeah.
record it and then play it on.
Yeah, we'll record it and then we'll.
It won't be quite the same.
I know.
Can
Uh,
you guys hear me?
Julie, what is your biggest deal breaker in a relationship? But since Julie is right now,
Oh no, she's there again.
she's back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
now we can.
Yeah, you were kind of frozen like this for like at least 2 minutes, and so I was like trying to do stuff while I waited for you to come back. But I just saw you blink. So, what is your biggest deal breaker?
Probably honesty, trust. That's probably my biggest one. Someone that's not honest.
How do you determine that?
Just experience, probably. I mean, sometimes it takes a long time, but I think that consistency plays a part.
Yeah, I agree.
What about you, Celeste? What's your biggest deal breaker in a relationship?
It depends on which direction we're heading with this, but if someone wants children, that's a no-go. No, I cannot have children, so that's a deal breaker.
What about adopting more kids?
Okay, so I'm 47.
Are you against adopting?
I've got 2 adopted children, so no. But I don't know, an older kid, maybe I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I'm old, so
Yeah,
diapers is a no-go, So yeah, but no, I can't have children. So lots of young guys like to reach out, and then I'm like, I'm old, I can't have kids, and they're like, that's
all
a deal.
dried up.
Because
Got it.
you look like you're 25. That's why.
Yeah.
Aw,
It's
thank you.
true.
That's nice.
What about you, Whitney? You look like you're 38. So can you have kids?
So I can have kids. Thank you very much. So my first thought would be like lying, honesty, but as I've thought
Julie
about
already
this,
said that was already taken. You
I
have to-
know. So as we've discussed it and I've thought about it, I think about I don't even know if I'd say situationships that I've been in over the past 2 years. And I think what I would actually bring it down to is effort. If they're not putting in equal effort, then I feel like that's a deal breaker for me. Because I have ended situationships because of lack of effort on their part.
Oh, oops. That was supposed to go to everybody.
Are you involved here? You look like you're kind of.
To me, I was typing to somebody, and then I was supposed to be going to the whole group, and I didn't realize that it just went to someone in particular.
Nick,
Nice.
what's your deal breaker?
Shoot. There was a girl that I was interested in, and in the process of trying to get to know her, I reached out and I was like, listen, there's a opportunity to go and help somebody move. And I was like, this would be a great opportunity for me and her to get to know each other. We can get something to eat along the way. And I was like, hey, would you like to come and help do the service project with me? And she was strictly, you know what? I wouldn't help somebody move if you paid me. I would never do that. I hate moving. I think, that's something I would never do, blah, blah, blah. She kept on just harping on that. And it turned me off to her so quick. Like literally whatever interest I had was gone. I had no interest in somebody that has no interest in serving their fellow man, in helping out when they can, where they can. If you are not in that boat, then I don't have any interest in being with you. my dad and my mom, when I was growing up, we had a variety of 7 different people live with us throughout my life. Because my dad and mom always had an open home. When I was married to my ex-wife, we had 4 different people live with us over 4 years of a 5-year marriage. And we were always helping people. That was actually one of the nice things that I can say about my ex, is that she was willing to do stuff like that. And I don't have many nice things to say about my ex. So, all right, let's see what the next one is. Julie, what are your secret talents? And I don't want to hear about the one with the zucchini. That one was just ridiculous.
My secret talents.
Can you steal somebody's nose?
That's
I
a
can't
song.
steal somebody's nose. I can eat my eyeball. Probably my most not so secret talent is that I like to make holidays and not holidays special. I really like to celebrate, as life can be really hard, and so I really like to celebrate whenever I can.
So holidays and not holidays. So like every day.
Well, like little things like
You
celebrating.
celebrate on birthdays?
Ooh,
We don't
I
celebrate
can
on
see.
birthdays. That would be fun, but if somebody like gets an A in the class, or making a big deal of things, because life is hard, to make a big deal of little things and big things is kind of like a hallmark for me.
So a little birdie told us that you can sing.
Who told you that?
I'm just saying, I heard it from somebody. Somebody said you're a really good singer.
I did say, there was a Marco Polo group that I sang a lullaby to, but now I feel like they're all traitors.
So I'm wondering, would you like to sing a line for us here?
What Marco Polo group were you in?
I was in Latter-day Connections for like 2 seconds till I got banned.
Why did you
do a
get banned?
shower polo?
I don't know. I don't even know.
Did you do a shower polo?
No, I did not do a.
Nick is really good at shower polos.
I am all about the shower polos. Tell you what,
Okay, so somebody told me to ask, I don't know what this is about. Somebody told me to ask you about Pajama Bama talent.
Ooh.
Pajama Bama. That was you, Nick, wasn't it?
No.
Did you, was it you?
What
I
is
might have-
that? What is that
I
about?
think it might have been in Lava that I told people about Pajama Bama.
What is it?
Come on.
So Pajama Bama was a game that we played in junior high. I don't know who started it or.
So what?
Oh,
you
no.
do-
We don't get out now. Your audio. Come on. Come back, audio.
You watch the Flintstones and you get Bam Bam playing while you're in your pajamas.
No, you turn off the lights.
Here you go.
You turn off the lights.
Everybody takes off their pajamas.
Everybody takes off their pajamas, and there's a shirt pile and a bottoms pile. And
And
you
then
grab you grab one of the pairs of pants and one of the shirts, and the first person dressed turns on the light and says, Pajama Bama.
That's awesome.
And so you just have a bunch of half-naked girls just running around, huh?
Pretty much. And I don't know why we even thought it was fun. I grew up a lot bigger, not only taller, but I've always struggled with my weight. So teeny tiny friends, I was always like, their pajama pants are not going to fit me. So it wasn't my
That makes it
favorite
even
game.
better though.
I know. I'm kind of envisioning this like with like men and women, and like whoever puts on whoever's shirt that's like who you're making out with that night. Like that would be kind of fun.
I wasn't going that far, but yes, I was thinking men and women like of different sizes. So clothes don't fit. Some are too big, some are too small.
Well,
Right.
nobody wanted to play it in lava. That's all I'm saying. I didn't offer. We didn't. That's just a joke.
What was the game that we played at Lava? What was that one with the 3x5 cards? How did that work?
Was that relative insanity?
Huh? No.
Was that- oh.
Hey Heidi, can we turn off your video? Thank you. No. so we had the 3x5 cards, and then we had to write down something about somebody in the group, and then we put it in the bowl, and then you go and you pick out a random card, and then you write down the answer on the back. And then as everybody is reading them, then the next person. Do you know what I was talking about?
I don't think I played that game. Maybe I was shooting because it sounds like a fun game.
It was awesome.
But I did shoot for the first time. That would be a fun date. Is going
Cosette
shooting.
is saying if then. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh, see, Cosette is smart. If then.
If then, that's right. Because that was there. She knows. Yeah. If,
What if then?
then, what if then? That's right. Yeah, it was such a fun one.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, apparently everybody knows this game.
Not me.
Yeah, Joshua, you were there. Yeah, you guys were there. I've got my lava people here. Lava. Awesome. Don't roll your eyes,
You're
Whitney.
such a dork sometimes.
He's got his buddies.
Okay, going back to the wheel of. Ooh.
Oh, snap.
Ooh. Oh,
This is
Nick's
like the
gonna love
rubbing
this
of,
one.
what is your favorite fantasy type deal?
I don't know. I'm
Come on. Peanut butter or chocolate?
chocolate.
I was gonna say both.
Or both.
Nice.
At the same time.
Mix
True.
them together.
I did used to make a Reese's cake that had Reese's Pieces and Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh, B.
Yeah, it was good. It was really good. And peanut butter and chocolate.
I feel
Okay.
like that's going wrong the other way from where I was going. I would start in the kitchen, but it's not going to be with that.
It would
cake's
be
not gonna go on
eating
any
that
plate.
and not having to consume and not having the calories count would probably be my wildest one.
My hardest thing is people that say, guys that come up and they try to be all suave about it. They're like, I just want to take honey and lather you all up. And then I'm going to start licking the honey off of your toes. And I'm going to work my way up all the way. And I'm like, dude, no. Okay. First of all, by the time that you get to her knee, she's going to be asleep. You're going to be in a diabetic coma. Okay. You don't know what you're doing. there.
Also, this is a mess. Like, we better be in the shower because who the heck is cleaning that up?
Yeah.
Right.
There's just going to be sticky honey out everywhere.
And there's no way that they could lick it off. You would still be sticky after.
Also, I'm
Plus,
trying to
if you have a 2-year-old, you know how much damage one dum-dum can do.
Yep.
Like you're
Yep.
sticky everywhere. Honey does not sound fun.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Edible underwear. How do you feel about that?
I plead the fifth.
You what?
She pleads the fifth.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth? I'm just wondering, strawberry or peach?
strawberry. Oh, but have you seen the ones that are kind of like, those necklaces with like the little candies on them?
Yeah.
They have those that are like underwear.
Oh, yeah?
Bra too. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. That
They're
would be.
made out of little candies?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
yeah,
you
but
gotta,
it's like-
you gotta watch out for the teeth, though.
There's like the bra and the panties.
Wow.
Wow.
I see a lawsuit happening on that one.
Why?
I'm gonna have to add that to my hope chest.
I mean, it's going to take a lot longer to eat than like the Twizzlers kind of underwear. That's for
That
sure.
is true.
Do you know what? Do you know what they sell, you guys?
What?
Do you guys know the candy necklaces?
Yeah.
They have a candy necklace bra and underwear set you can buy.
So when I was in fourth
This
grade,
is true.
when I was in fourth grade, I was sitting in the classroom, and we were learning about Abraham Lincoln, and the teacher was writing up all of the stuff that all of the students were saying. And I was sitting there not really paying attention. Then all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, Abraham Lincoln. He's not the second president. He's the 16th. And I was like, dude, I was completely blown away when I learned this. So I raised my hand and I was like, Miss Leonard, I would love to come to the front of the classroom and express my knowledge to the fellow students. She's like, okay, Nick, come on up. So here I am, short, curly hair, big hearing aids. I'm walking up. I get up to the front of the classroom and many of you may not know this. I didn't know this, but Abraham Lincoln was indeed the 16th president and not the second. Boom. And my teacher was just looking at me like I'm the world-class idiot. And she's like, Nick, we just wrote that up on the board because Michael just said that. And I'm just like, So I had to do a walk of shame back to
You are kind of an idiot.
my desk. Julie, the reason why I said that is because 2 seconds ago, Whitney and Celeste were just discussing the candy necklaces with the bra and panties.
Oh, it was Frozen.
I was gonna
Bummer.
say, I think it was you weren't listening, you couldn't hear us, so it's all good. I was saying I added it. I'm gonna add some of that to my hope chest because I've got a new hope chest with fun lingerie and stuff for
You
this.
call it a hope chest? I just call it my
Okay.
sex box.
Right, I know, but like it's
You're,
kind of like
you sound way more classy.
no. It's a joke. It's a joke because my daughter has started her hope chest. No, normally hope chests are like sewn, washed, or like napkins, and back.
Yeah, I don't hope for that stuff.
We just add lingerie into our hope chest.
Nice.
That's what I'm hoping for. So that's what I'm preparing for.
Well, since we're talking about lingerie, Julie, lingerie or naked? What do you prefer? She said, no, I don't prefer lingerie. I prefer to be naked. And I agree.
Is that what she said? Did you read it?
Yeah. I
Is
read all that.
lingerie really for the girls though? Isn't that more so for the guy?
You see, but that's the thing. I don't even like lingerie. That's
That's
just
the
one
only
more
guy
step
I've
between
ever
me and
known.
happiness.
That
I
doesn't
don't
mean
think
that
it's just for the guy. I think it's fun to wear.
But yeah, no, I totally think it's fun to wear. In fact, when nobody's home around here, I just wear my lingerie around the house
Oh my gosh.
because I have so much fun in it.
I bet you do.
So I have a large chest. Lingerie is difficult to buy for that. So maybe that's why I'm like, none of
Like a
it.
large hope
fits well.
chest?
Yes.
You need to get the Adore Me app. It's my
Both of
favorite
them.
app right now. It's got lots.
It's difficult to buy lingerie that fits well.
Well, it's not about
Lingerie is
fitting.
made for small boobs.
No?
Lingerie is meant to be revealing. And so if you have bigger boobs, then it's going to reveal more and men will like it.
Not in a good way. It needs to
You-
reveal it in a flattering way.
You seriously need to get the Adore Me app. It's awesome. See, Adore Me is awesome. And they go for all different shapes and sizes, even the models they have, all different shapes and sizes.
And it's
It's my
called
favorite app.
Adore Me.
Adore Me. Yeah. And hey, tell them I sent you because I think I get a free pair or something if you put my name down.
Okay. If you have a link, send it to me.
You referred
Not
me.
that I really need any lingerie at the moment, but I'll put it in my
For your
hope
hope
chest.
chest.
Well, you
It's for
can
your
check
sex
check
box.
out Lane Bryant.
Is there something between Hope Chest and Sex Box? Like,
It's
we
the
have
same
like
thing. It's just a classier name of saying because I'm not.
Well,
gonna
mine
tell
is
your
just
daughter
in
about
like an
sex
old
box.
boot box, like a shoe box for boots that's
Mine's
bigger.
just a drawer at the bottom of my dresser, so I
I'm
use
gonna make I'm gonna make a nice box, like out of wood, and I'm gonna write
with all
hope
your
chest
craft
on it.
supplies. Yes.
Yeah.
Boob box?
No,
Love it.
I'm gonna call it. Yeah, it's my ex-husband's boots box.
Nice.
So if
Nice.
you come in my closet and you're like, why do you have those man's boots box? And I'm like, well,
Let me just
don't
tell you.
open it.
That's where I keep all of the toys currently.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to get the Adore Me app. You'll fill up your ex boots box really quickly.
I need a bigger box. That one's too small. I actually now have 2 boxes, but I'm for real. Now I'm making a hope chest.
Yep.
I'm writing that on it. Hope
And I want
chest.
you
That's what
to
I
show
hope
it
for.
on one of the podcasts. Come and bring it for an example.
Yeah,
will.
her hope chest is gonna be a U-Haul moving box with.
I am gonna have to
Yes,
figure
big.
out how to put a lock on it. That's for sure.
Don't want anyone getting into that.
I know.
My daughter would run off. If we were the same size, she'd run off with my stuff. But she's much more voluptuous than I am. So she got
My
some-
daughter would just be like, what is this thing
this?
for, Mom?
Mixing things.
It's a massager for my neck.
All right, Julie, if you could go back 5 years, what would you change about your future?
Mm,
You know, I don't know that I would change anything. I might go back to school earlier. The last 5 years, I've lost like 135 pounds. I've regained my activity in the church. I'm back to a temple goer, and those were some really major changes. I feel like the last 5 years have really been transformational for me, and I don't know that I would change those things for I kind of like my progress in the last 5 years.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
So
What did you do to lose the weight?
yes, intermittent
I
fasting.
stopped eating sugar.
I don't eat sugar.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm not
I
all
eat it now though. Don't hate
Oh.
me. But I
loser.
I'm
Not
like
worth
no
it.
sugar and like very minimal amount of carbs. So
yeah,
Your
I
body
went off
needs carbs,
too.
Celeste. Your brain needs carbs.
I eat carbs like in vegetables. There's a lot of carbs in vegetables. I just don't do simple carbs.
Yeah,
Okay,
for
thanks,
18
French
months I had almost no carbs. Like I had less than 20 carbs a day.
Have you ever considered sexercise?
Who, me?
I don't know what this is, but I'm interested.
I know.
I
I'm
know,
like,
I'm like,
no,
keep
my
talking.
search box might-
Details, please, Nick.
Well, we'll have to talk about that on another podcast.
After dark. Flameless after dark.
That's
After the fire's put out.
I think that's when the fire starts.
So Julie, we didn't talk about this, and I want to. We're getting to the end of our program here, but I wanted to make sure that we did talk about this with you. Do you have any like dating horror stories? Like since you've started dating, people that you've messaged on, I don't know, Match, or do you do any type of online dating?
I haven't done. I did sign up for Mutual, but then I paused it really quickly. I didn't love it. Everyone I've dated has actually been through the Facebook groups.
Okay.
And I dated really nice men. I don't have any horror stories yet. I've really been lucky to be to date really, really nice people.
So nobody's sending you any dick pics or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
I haven't had that either. So I don't
Huh.
think it's as prevalent.
All
as
right, do me a
we-
favor, both of you guys send me your phone numbers. We'll get that taken care of tonight.
So here's my thoughts, because I've actually talked to people about this before, men about this before, because I'm like, I feel like I'm doing dating wrong because I haven't been ghosted. I haven't been stood up. I haven't got any unsolicited dick pics. Like, I feel like I haven't had a bad date. Overall, I feel like it's been pretty good. And feedback I've gotten from men, most of these are not members of the church. And so I don't know if that is relevant or not. But most of them say it's because I'm not like posting half naked pictures of myself, or like basically I'm not putting myself out there like I'm looking for a hookup or like I'm looking for sexual things. I look classy. And so I'm not getting trashy guys coming at me because I don't look trashy, basically.
So what would be like a sexy picture of yourself? We're talking about like a little bit of cleavage.
Those are the ones in my hidden folder.
Like that. That would be
I honestly, I do not even own a shirt that shows any type of cleavage. Like I don't own anything that's not like crew neck. I couldn't go take you a cleavage picture if I wanted to.
Okay. What if they do like the whole like that bit that we used to do back in the day? How
That would look really sexy with my garments hanging out.
No, right?
No. No. All right. I'm just trying to understand where people are going with these kind of things.
So, Julie, have you had anybody like, since it seems like you've only had interaction with really good guys, have they ever been like on the other end where they're like, you know what, I kind of feel like the Lord has brought you into my life and I kind of feel like maybe you're the one and like the Lord's kind of led me to you, that kind of thing?
I haven't had anyone tell me that the Lord has told them I'm the one or anything like that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll be talking to you later on tonight.
But I also have only been on dates with people that I've met in person, all but like one. So I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they kind of have a sense of who I am and I kind of have a sense of who they are. So like if I've met them through Facebook group, but then we've met at like a singles event in person or through a friend, or I just haven't felt super comfortable, and maybe that will come in time, going on a date with someone that I just met off of an app. It feels like a pretty vulnerable place to be.
No, it's a really vulnerable place to be, on your back.
Nick,
Why are
so-
you on your back?
Neck exposed, very vulnerable.
And the thing is I believe like mutual, it's just a bunch of people that I swear like most of them are just not even real people, right? It seems like there were so many fake people on there.
Well, you think they're a bunch of bots?
No,
Catfishes?
just like you can tell, yes, catfishes. Like
I don't think I've ever met like someone that's not real. I don't think I've ever met a
really?
scammer, a catfish, a fake person.
Oh, come on. You've been talking to a not real person for the last 2 years.
Okay. That's on Instagram. I'm saying on dating apps. He loves me. He just barely told me that on Christmas. We're in a 2-year
He
relationship.
loves you. It's been
So
2
leave him
years.
alone.
There's actually someone on some of the LDS Facebook pages, and I don't have the app anymore. I got rid of Mutual, but every time I'd get on there, someone would repost his photos and with a different name. So I'd always like screenshot it. I'd send it off to him like, "Oh, your name's David now," and then he'd go and get tell the moderators or whatever to take it down, and the next thing like, "Oh, now you're Dave," or like I just kept like, now you're Jason, and it's funny like people do that. They just steal photos and throw them up there. It's the
If
weirdest
I
thing.
did that, I would make all of my profiles be a variation of Steve. One of them would be like Stevie, Steven, Steve-O. They'd be like, "Are you the same?" No.
You should name
different
yourself
person.
Stefan what is it?
Ooh, Salvador.
Yes.
Yes.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, actually, Diantha brings up a really good point, and I have 3 chicks on here tonight, so let's go ahead and just throw this out. Facebook groups are better because girls can look after each other. Are you girls all chatting in the background with each other?
There is a Facebook group specifically for
LDS women.
dating, like warning each other.
Oh,
so
really?
I'm not a part of that.
Is
Anyone
this
know
why
anything
I'm
about
having
this
such a
guy?
hard time? Everybody keeps on reporting me.
Hey, I've never seen you posted in the group, so you're good.
Okay, thank you. Maybe it's just because I have a rough time.
I'm not a
No, there
member
is
of the group.
a dating safety group on Facebook.
Jules,
Julie,
are
are
you
you a member of
a
that?
part of that dating safety group?
No, I'm not. I actually take the different view. I feel like for me, watching out for other people is letting them experience the relationship they would have apart from what other people say. Because my
Okay, so you
experience with someone is not your experience with them. I would
okay?
never warn someone don't date him because I have no idea how they would be to each other.
So this is the same thing that you started out with, in the sense
Right.
of whatever experience you had with XYZ doesn't mean that somebody else is going to have the same experience with them.
Right. But like
Right.
Diantha was just saying, like that's not more of a like that's not a catfish scenario. Like
No. And obviously, if someone's like scary or unsafe, that's different than I felt like this person didn't treat me right or whatever, right?
Well,
I
in
think
this group, I don't feel like is like that. And they even like make a point to be like, everyone has their own experience. And even people that will comment, they'll be like everybody is welcome to have their own experience with this person. Here's what happened to me. Here's the things that I felt like were warning signs. And honestly, most of them are like, he seems like a nice guy, but here's a few negative things. We're like, okay, yeah, cool. Like, but there are some that it's like, hey, this person went and raped people. He was in jail. He just got out and he's already back on on Mutual. And everybody's like, oh yeah, cool. Thank you. I want to be aware of that.
right.
and I can appreciate that. I can.
There was one guy that I was talking to early on when I first got on the Facebook pages. And after some research, I figured out that he was like living with someone in a house he had just bought with his girlfriend. And so
What's
like,
his name?
I don't remember. It was a long time like Ricardo or something. I don't know. It was a while back, but it was just one of those moments where it's like, in that moment, I'm like, and he had just kind of got on the group and he had put his, I'm new to the group thing on there. And there was like 25,000 women jumping on there and like trying to get to know him. And I had that moment where like, what do I do? Do I put it out there? Hey, you might want to check on his Facebook, or do I not? And I'm kind of with Julie. Like, I was almost like, they'll figure it out, right? I didn't say anything. Maybe I should have, but wasn't a part of this other group. Maybe I would have stuck something in that other group, but I didn't call him out on his little feed that he had going. But it made me realize like there's people on there that are definitely dishonest and they're going to be lying.
I
so.
just recently on Mutual came across somebody that I went to high school with. He was a couple years younger than me. And looking at his mutual profile, like he looks like a really good guy. He's super cute. Like if I didn't know him, aside from the fact that he's like 4 years younger than me, like I maybe even would have swiped on him. But since I do know him, I know that he's been addicted to pain pills since he was a teenager. I know that he's been addicted to heroin. I know that he beat up his wife like just a few weeks or like a couple months ago. They're now exes. You don't know any of that looking at that profile. And so that's the kind of things that I'm like,
Right.
that's not just like I had a bad experience. That's like, this could be a potential safety thing.
Right.
Right. Right.
It
And I think
probably
there's a
wouldn't hurt
balance,
to
right? You
know.
kind of got to find that. Where is that balance, right? I
Yeah.
think it's a good.
Well, and I have had a friend reach out to me before and say, hey, that's something that she noticed. Hey, I just wanted you to be aware, because she didn't feel like someone was safe. And I appreciate that. I think more, I haven't been part of that group, so I didn't know if it was more like, you know, I don't know, people's more bad experiences with dating. Do you know what I mean? Because of course you want to like, you don't want someone that you care about dating someone that isn't safe.
One thing that we should remember, and I'm seeing a couple of the comments saying, this kind of scares me about online dating. The vast majority of men out there are good men. They are good men with good hearts, good intentions, with all-purpose intention of trying to find somebody that they can share a life with. Now, there are a couple assholes out there that when you come home and you have lasagna, they'll take it and throw it against the wall and beat the hell out of their wife. Okay, but those are the few. And unfortunately, it is the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. So we only hear about the bad experiences and the bad things that are happening. And so whatever you focus on becomes bigger. And so we've got a lot of comments that are going out on the Facebook groups, even in here, where we talk about these men that are either narcissists, abusive, whatever they are not the majority.
Not at all.
I agree.
I've honestly met so many amazing men, and so many that I'm like I love you like as a friend. They may not be great for me, but they're great. I love you, Nick, as a friend. We already talked about this today. They may not be great for me as a match, but they are great guys.
And that's what I love about Facebook is you can see their interaction with people. You can see what they're posting. You can see how they're replying. I know I'm known as like, I'll throw up a controversial question because I like to see how people react. I like to see which side are they going to take. And if someone takes the opposite, how are they going to react? I don't want to deal with crazy people that have, tempers or whatever. Like, I think watching people and seeing how they act on Facebook is a huge way to get to know who they kind of are.
And those toxic people, those crappy guys, they're going to show it. I mean, they'll show it. I have had some bad experiences in dating, but like they showed me their colors and I chose to ignore them.
And you can see the good ones. You can see them always like commenting, being uplifting, being positive. So yeah, I mean, you can see.
If you want a list of great guys that are in these Facebook groups, like I could give you a whole list.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really great guys in there.
Yep. I agree.
Nick is one of them.
Nick's a pretty good guy, even without his beard. He might look like he's 20, but he's not.
May look like I'm 20, that's right. Julie, we're coming to the end. I'm curious, what are you looking for? I mean, you mentioned that you're looking for friends right now. Maybe right now you don't want Mr. Right, but who's Mr. Right now for you?
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, I do want to be married again.
Okay.
That is definitely what I want. I feel like I was born to be married.
It's really funny. I've actually had that conversation with like about 4 or 5 people so far, where they talk about they feel like their whole reason for being on Earth is to love someone, to be that person for someone else. And so I wonder if this is a female view, because I've heard a few females make this comment.
I literally had that thought tonight. I was walking my dog and I don't even know why. I'll tell you why. Because tonight I was like, got home from work and I was like, I just feel sad tonight. I was like, I don't know why, like nothing has happened, but for some reason, like I just feel like depressed. And usually, because Wednesday nights is when my kids go with their dad. So that's usually my favorite night of the week. Now, I was not sad because they were gone. I just want to make that clear. But as I'm like walking my dog and I was like, I don't know what's wrong. Like, I don't know why I feel off. And then I was just sitting there. I was like, you know what? I feel like I was made to like have a person and to be someone's person and to give like that love to somebody.
Yep.
And I was like, right now at this day, I don't have a person. And so I feel like I just have all of this stuff to give and nowhere for it to
give
go.
to. Yeah, I was out to dinner real quick. I know we're at the end, but I was out to dinner today with my friend and she's married and she was just asking, how you doing? And I was like, I'm just lonely. I'm like, this is really weird. I thought the pain of betrayal was pretty tough, but this loneliness is seriously difficult. And she's like, oh, do you miss your ex? And I'm like, no. It's not that I'm lonely that I miss him. It's lonely that now that I'm beyond that in a new place, I just want someone in my surrounding. I want someone near me. I want to have that special someone. So I feel really, really lonely. It's not about him. It's about me and needing.
It's just about like having somebody when just like those little things that happen during the day, like something funny happens or something sad or you're stressed out or your kids do something funny. Just like having somebody, you come across a funny meme, somebody that you just send all that stuff to and you talk throughout the day. And
okay, Whitney, you can be mine and I can be yours until we get someone else.
Hey, what about me?
Excuse
Us
me.
three can just all get
I am
together.
Whitney's go-to. Thank you, Celeste. You find your
that's true.
own.
Nick, you are currently my go-to.
Oh,
Like
Nick,
anytime Whitney finds like
go-to.
on TikTok, she like send
Every
it.
time that I start
already
like
saw it.
crying and I'm like, I don't know what to do with my life, then I send it to Nick and he ignores my
Okay,
follows.
then me and Julie are gonna get together. So me and Julie will be our other lonely partner.
Okay, done.
All right, so just on recap, trying to understand you, Julie. You don't
Okay.
have a preference on who you date. Like when it comes to like height, weight, it sounds like you would like somebody that is in your religion. That
I would really like something that I didn't do my first marriage is I would like someone who loves God more than he loves me.
okay.
I would. That's would be my ideal.
Okay, that's good. But other than that, it sounds like you're looking for that.
Physically, you're open to anything.
Well, I don't know if I would say I'm open to any-
5'4".
Because I have struggled with my weight and I'm tall, I would like someone who is closer to my height. They don't have to be taller than me, but I would rather not be feel like a giant.
I've got a 5'3" guy that would love to kiss up to you.
He kind of has a girl, so sorry.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
we'll edit this part out then.
No, I agree. That's exactly how I feel. People always give me crap about like, well, because you only want a tall guy. I'm like, because I'm tall. Like, I'm not a small person.
No, she's
I
not.
don't want to feel like a giant whale next to him. He doesn't have to be taller than me. I just don't want to feel like huge and gross. That's all.
And I don't think it is. I think that preferences are important. I think that those who try to shame someone else for having preferences aren't recognizing their own, because they do. They have some sort of preference somewhere along the line.
Well, and I think that it comes down to insecurities. Like if a guy is going to get mad at me because I would prefer someone closer to my size, he's probably insecure about his own size.
I agree.
Which I mean, I'm insecure about my size, obviously.
Whitney always wants to be with somebody that's bigger than her. That way she doesn't feel so big. So I keep on eating as much as I can, and I never measure up. Never.
Keep eating.
I keep on eating. I'm doing like pizza after pizza.
Hey, for the record, I'm currently at my lowest weight in like 8 years. So,
I was gonna say
good
you don't look big
job.
at all. But
so
here's
even
the
my
thing.
own preferences are getting smaller.
Great. It's opening up your horizon a little bit. That's awesome.
Yes.
Julie, congratulations on losing as much weight as you have. And like the last 5 years, sounds like as much as your relationship kind of went down a different path than you were anticipating, it sounds
Well,
like.
and this is like the crappiest time to get divorced too.
I know, right?
Everything going on, like the world in general just
COVID.
sucks.
COVID.
Yeah. There's no connection church-wise hardly, at least on my end. Like,
Like
bad.
divorce is lonely, but divorcing COVID, like COVID is lonely. And then
Yeah.
all of that
It's like
together.
a double whammy.
No, the universe just threw
It's
everything at me, and
COVID.
let's
know.
see if she can still swim. But I'm swimming, guys.
I am so
No, you're
proud.
doing great.
Yes, just keep swimming, right, Dory?
Yes.
Her
Yep.
counsel. Do you know that was
Yep.
my screensaver for many months after my divorce? It was just
Oh,
keep
I love
swimming on
that.
my phone. Yep.
You guys are amazing. Thank you for having me on.
No, thank you. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stop the recording as it is right here.